Beautiful people, welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your boy, Joey Dang Options, and I'm Sharif. And YouTube likes to take their time. It's okay. It's okay, YouTube. We love you. You're the best free video platform on the internet. But there's already Mateus Lane and Blackhawk JP. Shout out to Skull, Darwin with the 3 pies there, Joseph. I think that's a little dig at you, my man. But shout out to the OG Darwin. Yeah, he's good with it. Your boy Joey Options can take a joke. Charlie Taft, beer producer Wilson. We got Tez. We got Jacques. And we got X-Baines, baby. We got the OG Gorev. We got Ravi Fernandez. I used to have a friend in high school called Ravi Fernandez, ironically enough. Super No, yes, City Boy 305. And we got Stefan Gilbert. Todd, 6060. We got Mary. We got Rishi. We got Jin Vesting and Jose Perez. Rishi Desi. We got Brandon Franklin, Juan Padilla, Gladys S. and Westgate. Shout out to Alan Bloomner? Sorry, bro, I butchered your last name. We got Why Not, 2 New York Cents. We got Thomas, Adara. We got Papa Bear and Hytham. Fat Figga, my man, number 60. Okay, I see you, Fat Figga. Scott J, Tough Aldrin, Vinicius Jr., is that you? Arsenal's going to beat you today. Cold King Blue Army, shout out to Nightbot. That's like a automatic thing. All right, one more here, Joseph. Man. John Ossipachak. Sorry, John. I know I got that one wrong. Good morning, Joseph.
What's up, brother? Yeah, it was something. Yeah, nephew with a capital P. What's going on, man? Good to see you in the chat. You're back. It's Tuesday. You know we're going to be here Monday to Friday, man. So just make sure you guys tune in to these markets because we got a lot going on, especially today. I mean, it's good from a sense that the volatility has drastically started to decay and compress. That's a good sign for me personally. I like that, right? But everybody has their own preference and what they like in the market. Sharif, we got a lesson today. I'll show you what we got going on real quick. We'll go over your trades real quick, and then we'll hop right into it. A little bit of a mess here on iBit. If we can pull up my chart here, that'd be fantastic. Thank you. So Sharif and I were here this morning, and I went to actually add right here, and I went all out. And Sharif's like, Joe, get right back in. I'm like, okay. Let me get in 4 times the amount that I initially went in, and then we got this little pop, but then that's all we got from that there. And then this was bad. I went really small here because I knew that I would be wrong as soon as we broke the range, but that was okay. We put in an indecision. I tried again, doubled up the position, and then got stopped out there on iBit. So that is what it is. It was messy. It wasn't one of the cleaner traders this morning, but we had a nice couple shorts on the TQs, guys, that just kept us green on the day. And sometimes you only need a couple trades. This was earlier in the morning. So one thing that I note is that when we're really extended above VWAP in the pre-market, you tend to get that move back to the mean. So that's what we were looking for on this play, just a little bit of a VWAP, but you can see that it started to curl up the volume weighted average price and follow price action. So that was a positive sign. But then we started to curl up once again, and I'm like, okay, now we're getting that turtle shell type price action, extremely extended from VWAP, and a lot of indecision at the highs. Let me get one more short in, and then bang, there we go. We took that short all the way down to VWAP, running with our target. I have one out left there, guys, so we'll hold that one.
Bang.
What do you got going on?
Your friend Jay Lee kind of sees it the same way you're seeing it. He's looking at taking these market shorts, baby. He wants these T-triple-Qs down to the canvas. All right, here are the small cap gappers we are looking at today. ZV, yes. VSA, the biggest, the baddest looking one right now. It's not the biggest percentage winner on the day, but it's the best looking chart. Buck 66 high, retracing down above the 10, above VWAP. This one's in no man's land right now, but it's finding support at buck 40. Let's keep an eye out on this one. This looks awfully good. It was just down halted. It is just reopened and trying to bring back, or trying to move back up. NAOV, another beauty. 362%, but off that 16.25 high. It's using this former area of technical resistance at around 13, 12.5, generally as support on the closing basis. You can see it's wicking below there, but the closing prints are defending that 12.5, 13. What I don't like about this is the ridiculous amount of lower highs we have on the 5. Let's keep an eye out on that. SXTP. This one was a good looker, man. I had a trade in this one in the sim. You guys know I trade in the sim in the morning, and then we go live live on the show. I had a really good trade on this one, but it's lost VWAP at that $3.33 area. It was using VWAP generally as support. It lost that now, Joseph, so it's going to have to weasel back above that 3 1/3 for me to get involved. TRNR, look, this one had a really nice move pre-market, but you know my rules. We don't trade these bad boys if they're trading south of that pre-market high, so it's going to have to weasel above $1.43. A couple more, Joseph, sorry.
Yeah,
SOBR, it's losing the bid, so this one, I don't even want to talk about it. VG, though, this one looked like a dang buy program to the high side there, and now, Joseph, a buy pro or a sell program to the downside. So this one, a V-shaped retracement, and not top G, for all my guys out there, but top W, this one is, I'm going to get hate in the chat for that. Yeah. They hate him out there. They hate him, right? TOPW trading below the volume weighted average price, 260. It's going to have to work its way above there for me to get interested. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, good stuff there, my friend. Normal special, that's okay, brother. Just keep on plucking away. There's always going to be another week. The markets are going to be here, that's for sure. All right, guys. A lot of VWAP. For those who are new, for those who are new and those who are experienced, I think it's really important because I do believe it is the most common indicator used amongst day traders, retail traders, whatever it may be. The volume weighted average price can tell us a whole ton, and this is exactly what we're going to get into. And then on Thursday, we're going to get into, just because it's volatile markets, we're going to get into calendar ratio and how to reduce implied volatility and volatility in our options contracts, all right, just using gamma, etc., because that is extremely important. So now we're running into 45s here on the TQs. I'm going to hold this last little bit on a little bit longer. So El Nino, yeah, we love that. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So what is it, guys? So what is the volume weighted average price is a popular indicator across all levels of traders. Can be classified as a trading benchmark that calculates the average price of a stock by the volume of trades at each price level. All right, so there's different ways we can interpret this. All right, so VWAP gathers both price and volume data throughout the whole trading session. Calculated from an intraday perspective, VWAP starts when the market opens at 4:30 a.m. to when it closes at 8 p.m., then resets on a daily basis, all right? So utilizing this, the indicator can help with identifying trends, bullish trends when current and past price is trading above the volume weighted average price. This can indicate more buying pressure, all right? So more bullish sentiment. Bearish trend when current and past prices trading below VWAP reflects more selling pressure utilized as support and resistance levels can help decipher entry and exit levels. I think that's really, really important. When we're playing reversions, we look for that move back towards the volume weighted average price, and then we also look for the deviation of the volume weighted average price as well too when we're looking for breakouts, okay? So entry and exit signals, if the primary intraday or pre-market trend is trading above the volume weighted average price and the underlying breaches the indicator once the stock reclaims the level, this can be a potential entry signal looking for the continuation of the trend. And that's when I get into that elastic effect, right? That's when I'm referring to the elastic effect, that's exactly what I mean, okay? So you get those bounces off of it. Whether the underlying is extremely strong, then you can just bounce right off of it. If it's a little bit more weak and buyers aren't as aggressive, you can kind of breach it a little bit, then you get the bend, and then you can bounce right through it. So, all right, exit signals. When trading a retracement setup, prices extended from VWAP, the move back towards the indicator can be used as profit targets, and exit signals also can be utilized as stop loss parameters, okay? So when we breach the volume weighted average price in a bullish trend, that can signal for us to get out, okay? And vice versa. So let's take a look at some prime examples of trading and how we can utilize the volume weighted average price as kind of an elastic effect as our primary entry and exit signals. So this is one of the trades that I have from, I'm not too sure what specific date this is, but here you can see from a pre-market standpoint, we are trading above it, and then you kind of get that trampoline bounce off of it. So you push through, not strong enough, not enough selling pressure in order for us to breach through it, then we go back above it, come back below it again, and then we bounce right at the open right above it. So there you go. Good little trade here by me. You can see that I entered once, got out, entered, add, and then you take the break of the volume weighted average price all the way to the top side there. And here's another example as well too, guys. Very identical type trading. You can see here It's almost like it's two different days, but identical styles. In, out, back in. Again, you can see that we're in at the hold of the volume weighted average price, a bunch of indecision right here. We get out, and then we get right back in there, Sharif, and add to those positions, and then just partial out all the way up there. Yeah, so this is a past trade. So it can act as support and resistance. When price approaches VWAP from above and bounces off the indicator, this can determine buyer confidence at that key level, acting as support for the underlying asset. Resistance, when price approaches VWAP from below, sellers may become more active, viewing the level as an opportunity to sell at fair or slightly increased value, causing the underlying asset to run into potential resistance levels, okay? So here is an example when the volume weighted average price is just acting as clear support throughout the whole day and just trending to the top side. So multiple bounces and multiple indecision candles right at VWAP as it's holding up relatively strong. The market is really starting to come in here. And here's the inverse of that, guys. So you can see that we had the inability to breach it, and you can use this to just as a consistent trend line to the downside, all right? So key tips. VWAP is an indicator of price action. It does not dictate. Understanding the ebbs and flows of the market will help you utilize the volume weighted average price. Unlike shorter period moving averages, VWAP will smooth out, does not fluctuate as much throughout the trading session. And that is the lesson on the volume weighted average price there, guys. Hopefully that gave you a little more insight. Sharif, we just took our last little bit out there on the TQs. Yeah, right at 45 there, guys. So you can see that VWAP, speaking of it, was my primary target. We left a little bit for the dream, and then we're continuing to move to the downside. It looks as of now that we have snapped the VWAP, and we are continuing to move to the southeast. Sharif.
All right, guys. I've been keeping my eye fixated on your friend here, Zed. VSA, 207% and change and still going, was halted to the upside at that $1.61. Halted yet again to the upside at $1.79. This is the gift that keeps on giving. Now, this is a halter, so there's a bit of a different strategy here to trading these halting names, because you're going to have to be in it, if you're caught in the halt, that is, for at least 5 minutes at a time, if not more. Volatility halts, if you don't trade these small cap gappers often, come in blocks of 5. So this one halted, for example, at 11, let's just say 11:13. It was 11:28.58. So it will open up at the minimum at 11:18 or 11:17.58 to be more exact, okay? So we're gonna give this one a look. I'm definitely keeping my eye on it. I was fumbling the keys. I was actually trying to punch in while Joseph was dropping hot lines on the lesson. I couldn't get in at the price that I liked, so I canceled my order. We're gonna keep an eye out on this one. I'm just a little disappointed in myself, and I'll tell you why. You guys know how much I have, the affinity that I have for getting pullbacks off the 10 exponential moving average on the 5, and that's exactly what this gave you over here at that $1.33, $1.40, whatever, in and around that area, especially after that topping tail. Now, as I've mentioned on many occasions, topping tail candles on small cap gappers are not the end all and be all of the trade. It is not the same as seeing it on Meta, on Apple, on other names, okay? There's a lot of profit taking, intraday profit taking here that causes these. And then as you can see, we ended up making a new high, and we're closed out right at the high there. So $1.79, it's halted at, I'm talking about ZVSA or ZVSA for my American friends out there. That's the look right now. The other one, Joseph, is NAO dang V. There's no dang in that, I promise. This one is breaking down, and that trend that has been basically in place since 10 o'clock, so now we're in 15 minutes of trend right now of lower highs. And so, yes, okay, this could be a bull flag, absolutely, but I need to see more. I'm not going to guess to see whether or not we're going to break through that upper trend line. I want to see the break of the upper trend line, then I'll get involved. That means getting a crappier price, so be it. I'd rather put the odds on my side. Now, I do like where this is finding support, even though I don't want to pick it up off here. The reason is I want to see if other traders who were involved in NAOV are seeing the same thing I'm seeing. And I'm seeing resistance here at 13, initial resistance at 13 on that big move up. And lo and behold, we've been kind of defending generally 13, 12.5 since 10:45. So almost a half an hour now of that general area, 13 to 12.5, holding up. That doesn't mean, though, that it's going to break to the high side. It could be holding up there initially, but sellers could overwhelm buyers, and we could end up losing the bid there. My next level, if we do lose that 13, 12.5, I'm looking at the volume weighted average price, which is currently around 11 and a fifth, 11 and a quarter. We'll see what happens there. So NAOV and ZVSA, the best two on my chart right now. There's not a whole lot. I got to tell you guys, I've been looking. SXTP is kind of like the only other one, and you guys know how I feel about trading these south of the volume weighted average price. Currently on SXTP, VWAP is 333. So you can see we're below 3, we're breaking down, so we'll have to wait and see if this one wants to find a bid. It does have, though, a pre-market high at 285 Adara. What is going on up there?
Keep an eye here on KRMN. This is Carman Holdings dropping here with a short report coming from Herb Greenberg. Herb Greenberg is a journalist based in America, and he basically said this is one company he's watching, and he said that, quote, the red flags are many. So KRMN with a short report from a journalist pushing it to the downsides. Keep an eye on this ticker here. Still listening to the Senate testimony here with regards to USTR, or U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer. Still ongoing. If I see anything market moving there, I will let you guys know. Back to the Bash Brothers.
Yeah, thank you for that. Adara, by the way, did you hear that the Trump administration wants to cancel the former Biden administration's financing of GLP-1s?
I did.
You see that?
I
You saw that?
aware of that.
I was looking at Lily and I didn't see a big move down, nor did I see one on Novo. I figured there'd be a bit more movement.
Same.
Thank you for that.
GLPs, eh?
Yeah, so here we go. We are now open, Joseph, on ZVSA for my American friends out there. We are going to halt down, baby. And this is what I meant. Once, you get into that habit of halting, especially these dollar stocks that don't have to move that much in order to halt, because it's the 10% rule. We're halted down yet again, and we've got a topping tail candle, as you can see, on the 5, much like we had, Joseph, at 10:55. Again, it's not operative. We're still above VWAP. We're still above the 10 exponential moving average. So Z or ZVSA, whatever, is certainly in my sights. I will wait on this one to set up properly. I don't want to jump in prematurely here. There's nothing, honestly, that I do like right now in small cap gapper world. I'm always keeping my eye on the scanner, and if you guys see anything, I'd love it if you guys would tag me, let me know something that is moving. And just so you know, I filter everything out south of 85 pennies, so the ones maybe that are trading at 60, 50, 40 pennies, maybe breaking up, I do not know about. So that is what I'm looking at there, guys. So what do you got?
Yeah, just talking with my guy Jay Lee in the chat there. He's telling us to short. Man, we were short already, the TQs. If we can pull up my chart here, you can see we got that nice little move in the market and multiple attempts on it too that worked out pretty well for us. We're now long the Tesla with nice indecision prints at the lows. You can see we're in at 819. We're not going to add to this position just yet. We're going to wait for a pullback and then an additional add, and then that will give us a little bit more conviction within the setup, because the market does seem to be in somewhat of a free fall right now, giving up the majority of the earlier gains and some of these pre-market gains. I will note, Gorev, Los Polios, Jay Lee, I am liking this 5-minute print on SPY. If it closes as a hammer, we might get some bounce, and that could be a positive signal. What's our target here on TSLA, Sharif? VWAP. We just did a lesson on VWAP, so let's see if we can get that to come into play there. But grabbing a nice little piece off these bottoms and on those indecision prints, you can see on the 1-minute time frame. And what I was just about to do was actually just pull up the options chain to be like, hey, what is the market telling us from a range standpoint today? But a really nice print here on SPY, Sharif. I like this a lot. Look at this 5-minute bottoming candle right here at the low. So that could be a really good potential for a small bounce here in the market, guys. So we're gonna keep an eye out on that. Let's see what the overall. Okay, so what is this level first? Then we're gonna go to the SPY option chain to see if we have any high levels of OI around 415 or anything around those neck of the woods, because we are holding up relatively well right there, guys. So let's pull it up and see what we got going on. For all my options traders, do the exact same thing. We're doing it live. Follow me and see what we got going on from a chain standpoint. But as of right now, looking like a pretty good bounce in Tesla, and that's what we want to see. We're going to start to partial out as soon as we run into VWAP. But you can see we're running into some resistance zones right now, so we'll keep an eye out on that. That's for sure. But if we can break through, then I do believe we can run into 8720 as the momentum is starting to push it there. Now, guys, one thing. Okay, wow, I don't even know what to say. Okay, guys, go look on the put side there. 515. We just marked out the lows. Where do we have the most open interest on this week's expiration cycle? I guess the 11th. It's 46,000 open contracts at 515, Sharif. That is quite a bit amount. But then we have 75 slightly below that at 510, 75,000 open contracts. So possible zones of support. But then we go to the call side, and what is our next highest level of open interest? That's going to put us at that 520 strike price, and we only got about 10,000 open contracts there. So a really good bounce. Before we even opened up the chain, we said, hey, let's look at the lows and why we are exactly bouncing off of that. And we looked at the chain. You can see 515, 47,000 open contracts at that level, coming in as really nice support. We're going to take a little bit off here, Sharif, above the volume weighted average price. Maybe I'll take more because I just mentioned that's going to be our target. So we'll take a little bit more off here. But as of right now, not too bad of a trade on Tesla's bottom.
All right, guys, keep an eye on these markets, because it looks like we just bounced off 1800 and now are rejecting 18.1. I'm talking, of course, about the NQ June contract. Allow me a moment over here to load up that bad boy. What's going on? Oh, that's right. We need that one over like this. I know, right? What you gonna do when
that show was epic, eh?
So good, bro. So good. Here we are. So we did get that 1800 bottoming tail candle. Ended up being kind of a bottoming tail. I want to say it's a doji candle because the body is almost non-existent, but it looks like we're locked in a 100-point range here on the NQ. Kind of weird. 18,000 exactly bounces, and then 18,100 exactly rejects. So caught in a bit of a down move now. Let's see if 18,000 catches a bit of a bid, but we are on the way down. Quick as you like. We touch 18.1. And now we're at 18 and a quarter. So 75 points just like that. All right, so we're going to keep that on watch. Now, I'm keeping my eye on ZVSA here. I'd like to get long at these levels if I can. It'll have me. We're going to look to defend this area into that $1.60, but a loss of $1.60 gets me out of this trade. We'll see if this one wants to continue to run up or what it wants to do. There is the 10 exponential moving average at the 50 penny area, but I think it halts before that. So I am a little concerned that this one does lose a little bit of the bid there. Let's see, there is finding a bit of a buyer at 165. Let's see if we can add in the low 160s. Does it have us? Yes, it does. So now we have a 70 cost basis, but it is losing that 60 penny level, at least for the moment, that is. So let's go ahead and throw some orders on this one at $1.72. So if it does pop up there, we do get a little bit of the beak wet. Here we go, back into 160s we go. It is the strongest name, I want to say, in small cap gap world, even though NAOV is a little bit higher of a percentage winner on the day. It does feel like ZVSA had a bit of more of a tailwind behind it, to be honest with you. $1.94 is the high of the day. Anything below $1.50, though, I am out of this trade. Adara, who we paying?
The show is brought to you by Trade the Pool, Sharif. Robinhood took commissions out of the equation, and that was huge, but trading still meant risking your own cash. Trade the Pool is picking up where Robinhood left off by making it possible to trade big without risking big. They let you trade with company capital up to $200,000, while your risk stays locked to just a one-time fee starting at $47. No margin calls, no big deposits, just skill, strategy, and real opportunity. This is the future of trading, so join Trade the Pool. Before we send you back to the guys, I am very happy to announce the release of today's Trump tracker, as it were. This is our little daily calendar of Donald Trump's public appearances. If he doesn't have any public appearances on his schedule, I will not post, but today he actually does. At 3 p.m., he's going to be participating in, and this is how it's described in his official calendar, an Unleashing American Energy executive order signing event. So not just a signing, it's going to be apparently a whole executive order signing event with regards to unleashing American energy. Keep an eye on these energy plays at 3 p.m. with that in mind. Not on this calendar because Trump is not set to be there, but at 1 p.m., Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, will be hosting a press conference. So be aware of that as well. I will be watching any and all event that is televised. Back to you.
Yes. Yeah, guys.
I just want to cover my. I'm caught in a down halt right now, but I'm caught in the exact price that we got halted at. So I've got 151. No, technically I'm 1 penny out of the money. We are halted down now at $1.50. We'll see if this one loses the bid. It's still above the 10 exponential. So just a full disclosure, I got stopped out for the position. I'm on the loss of $1.60. Excuse me, I punched back in at $1.50 because it was a 10 exponential moving average. We'll see what it does at this level, but it's got multiple halts to the upside, multiple halts to the downside. We'll see which way this cookie crumbles, keeping an eye, obviously, on the theoretical auction price. You'll be able to see that here. I know it's not really large enough for maybe the TV viewers to see it, but if you're watching on YouTube or on mobile, you'll be able to zoom in and kind of be able to see what that is. So TAP stands for theoretical auction price. It's essentially the auction that takes place while the stock is halted between buyers and sellers. You're always pairing orders, and then if it's above the halt price, you'll know that there's a net amount of buy orders. If it's below, you'll know that there's a net amount of sell orders. That price changes within the 5, 10, 15 minutes that the price is, or that the stock is halted. Currently, it's showing 143. That means that there is a net amount of sell orders. We'll have to wait and see how this all ends up folding out. But we're already down on it. So we'll be looking to make up some here, Joseph.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Yeah, so we took about 33% off of the position here on TSLA, and then we got just the rest stopped out break even. As the market seems like it wants to continue to the downside, I will note Palantir, Google, Amazon, and some of these more popular names are continuing to move lower, but Palantir looks like it's holding VWAP relatively well. And we have some indecision prints on SPY, so that can be a positive note. Are we going to turn around immediately? No, it doesn't seem to be the case because we have broken that indecision print to the downside. So it might be more of a cruise ship type turnaround. It may take a little bit more time. We're not going to get that V reversal right now. So just be patient. Wait for those bottoming signals to come into play. I mean, the volatility is still most definitely here, guys. So we'll take that into consideration. Be patient. I wish I took 66% off. So lesson learned. We'll do that next time because I mentioned to you guys, I'm like, hey, we're gonna be looking for VWAP, and that's exactly what we got. We only took 33% off, and then we got stopped out the majority. Unfortunately, if that was inverse, I know I was looking for kind of a bigger move here, especially on those prints. But one thing to note, and as I'm just thinking out loud here, is that okay? Yeah, we had those bottoming tails again, but we didn't have those isolated volume signatures to say, hey, we're going to be turning around indefinitely. It was just more of a pullback breath, and then now we're looking like we're going to continue to the south side here. As Google broke through VWAP and then now trading back at 149, which is a little bit of a surprise, and the Qs and SPY looking like they want to go a little bit lower. I'll pull up the Qs for you guys to see exactly what I'm looking at. So this is the 2-minute chart. I'm not going to call this a head and shoulders or anything along those lines, but you can see that we have a nice support base here. It was acting as a previously, and I think it's coming into play right now. So you can see a nice pre-market zone, and yeah, it's holding up relatively decently. If we break it to the downside, then there might be some more and head in towards these pre-market lows. Also, we are opening up a below R3 on the intraday cam structure, so that can justify some things. We didn't break through it. Mr. C, $2 super chat. Thank you for that, my friend. Can I take a look at Occidental Petroleum? For sure. Yeah, Occidental. I remember. So way back in the day, I think it was like one of my first 3 options contracts that I bought was in Oxy, and yeah, ever since then I was like, yeah, see you later, there, Mr. Buffett. But here we go. I mean, from an energy standpoint, right? Like we're not going to beat around the bush on this one. From an intraday standpoint, not the best trader, obviously. It did break out not too long ago. Obi was pointing this breakout, but it doesn't seem like it has been anywhat sustained, unfortunately. So where was that breakout level that I think he was pointing at? Oh, I can't even find it on here. That's weird. Maybe it was XOM. Sorry. Yeah. So I'm mixing up the two. Okay. So Oxy not looking too good from a technical perspective, guys. You can see that from this pivot up here, we essentially haven't even broken that trend line to the downside. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches now. We've breached it, and we can also form this channel if we want to get somewhat a little bit more technical. So we can look for that to maybe hold up. Again, I'm not going to get too in depth with this name. I personally don't like it. If you want to collect the dividend, then by all means. But from a long-term investment, Sharif, I'm not going to be looking at Oxy.
All right, open ZVSA. It's zigging and zagging. It's dropping into the mid-40s. So I technically put my stop below 30, but I don't think I want to deal with this one below that 40 penny area because there is an area of technical support here. So it does look like it's going to lose 40. So we will get stopped out, sadly, on this one if it keeps dipping down. Just keep in mind, VWAP is still at $1.30, which is why I placed my stop there. But I don't want to be DCing into this, so I'm going to flatten out here. 0 for 2 on this one. We'll start the day off a little bit rough, so we'll keep looking to do a little bit better. I'm happy I got out of this one because it's going to halt again, or at least looks like for now at $1.32 or $1.33 is what I'm seeing on the side over here. The volume weighted average price, as I mentioned, is at that $1.30, $1.29. Let's see if it finds a bit of a bounce around that area. It's showing that it could halt at around 131, but it did bounce off that area. So we're gonna give this a try now. Let's see if we can it'll have us to the upside over here, and we'll set up a couple of orders this way, and we'll see if this one wants to catch a little bit of a bounce. ZVSA is the one I'm talking about. As I look on my side chart here, NAOV is losing the volume weighted average price. ZVSA barely holding on to it. We'll take a quick out right there at $1.38, but definitely not still getting that $1.40. Yeah, it doesn't look like it might hold this area. I mean, this is going to be my last shot at it at the volume weighted average price. Let's see if it can catch a bit of a bid. It's up 133%. There's nothing doing better than this one right now. Everything's below VWAP, or it's just kind of trending down aggressively. This one's, we'll see. It feels definitely right now that the bears are in control. Last line in the sand is that volume weighted average price. It looks like it will lose it, Joseph.
Yes, sir. Okay, so this is what we had going on with Tesla. So we're all out of that trade. It is slowly climbing higher, holding up this base relatively well. So you can see that we have this resistance zone that formed all these candles, and then now it just came back in, held it extremely well, and then now we're back at the volume weighted average price as the market is starting to catch somewhat of a bid and climb higher. So that's a positive signal. The thing is, I don't want to try any more attempts on IBIT. As Sharif just mentioned, he's like, I took 3 stabs at this. I don't want to get more involved. We can find better stocks and no need to stay committed. And I think that's how I feel about IBIT today. It's not trading how I particularly like, or it has anything to do with my setup. I did like this indecision print, but also like Sharif, small cap, Bitcoin doesn't necessarily follow some of the indecision prints as well as the equities do. So you can see we got the one in, and then that was an accidental out, and then we took a little bit off here, guys, on that front, and then we got stopped out break even, and then we tried again really small just for the whole of the trend and that breakout to the top side, because when it gets moving, it can really go, but it didn't work out. And then the same thing, another attempt there, and then just that was it. So it's like, see you later. You're not in sync with the stock, that's fine. There's multiple other vehicles that we can trade, and I was trading the TQs very well earlier in the morning. So here you can see we had that initial short looking for that move back towards the volume weighted average price, and then we eventually get stopped out here, break even, and after we took some off, and then we go on this nice climb, but we get that turtle shell type price action slowly curling over, having the inability to construct any new highs, so forming lower highs, and then that's when I say, okay, we broke through those support levels, we open up below it, let me take a short. And I'm wrong at the break of these highs, give itself a little bit more room. Another positive note, I was like, okay, and this is where I should have added on this trade, is that once we failed to construct that new higher high, we put in a lower high, and then we break through that support again on the increase of volume, and then that's when we get that move all the way down to VWAP. So that's something that I need to do, is just add to make that as large as possible. Other than that, it was a really good trade all the way back in and south of the volume weighted average price station.
All right, so we scalp a little bit there on ZVSA, but it looks like it's going to lose the bid, at least for now. So I'm not going to try to catch this one anymore to the downside. It's going to have to get into an uptrend for me to get involved. It's at VWAP, fantastic. Okay, let's see if it wants to bounce. It's going to have to put it higher highs and higher lows for me to get involved. But I see you guys are telling me about a new one here. FATN, Fatten, is making moves. It is currently halted at around $15.95, 16 bucks, give or take. It's up 177%. And I don't know why I don't have this on my scanner. It's not showing up here. I'm just looking at the top screen. This is up 177%. So I should have notice of this, and I don't, which is kind of a little bit unusual. I don't know why my scanner is acting up like that. It's done enough volume, about 2 million shares on the day. So certainly meets my volume criteria. So I'll have to fix that. That's not the first time that's happened, though. I remember Bovin was telling me about ones that were moving yesterday, and neither of them showed up on my scanner. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on there. But FATN, another one that you're going to have trouble trading if you don't like these halters. So let's throw it up here on the black charts and talk a little bit about this one. So number one, is it a former runner? Oh, it's an IPO.
People are saying it's an IPO.
I like.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it's not showing up on the scanner, and that makes sense. Fat Pipe Incorporated. Okay?
No way.
Yeah. 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 So that's the name of the company, and I'm not making that up. You can have a look at that. So FATN is the ticker. I don't have any information on them, as I typically wouldn't if they're a new IPO. So maybe the OG Adara could help us out with that if she has an opportunity. FATN, guys, is the one I am talking about. Shout out to KC France. Adara.
I looked into this Fat Pipe, so it's not a lot to find on this, because usually, from what I'm seeing here, a lot of these groups that will cover these IPOs do not cover IPOs under $5 million. Fat Pipe is a really small IPO. They raised $4 million. They offered 700,000 shares. So this is a very, very small IPO, Fat Pipe, or FATN. It's also worth noting here, they priced the IPO at $5.75. That is literally the bottom of their expected range, $5.75 to $7.75, though the IPO opened at $6.50. As you could see here, halted quite a lot since it began trading, and it's currently halted here. So FATN, that's some of the details there. For this new IPO, $4 million raised, 700,000 shares offered. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. I do appreciate that information. Didn't have that. Adara LePage dropping said hotlines. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Was that you?
That was me.
You can't just hit it and like make us sweat like that. You got to tell us what's going on. The Katina man just hit the dollar. The Katina man is $1 in the money on your friend Palantir. How's that trade looking over there, Katina man? What was the move on that one? 83.50 long. Short $85 on this one. So you took, I love how you front run the VWAP. Fantastic look on that one, Katina man. Good look on you. Palantir strong on the day, but trading, intraday trading that is, really doesn't have, I mean, you can get them off technical levels one way or the other. I'm keeping my eye on ZVSA. This one likely will lose its place on the side charts if it continues to drop in this manner. It is losing the volume weighted average price more aggressively than I anticipated. It's going to halt down again at $1.18, or could be a false halt right now, or $1.19, excuse me. This one is a multiple halter, but now it is 5 candles in a row on the 5-minute chart that all have been red after that 194 touch and drop. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. Not much. I'm sorry, guys. I'd love to be in some positions, but Fat N is still halted, 15.95. Let's load up that one. That's going to be a longer halt here. It looks like it's going to be a 10-minute halt. This one, Fat N, has had multiple 10-minute halts. In fact, the first one, Joseph, at 10:45 was 10. As well, the one at 10:56, again 11:06, again 11:17. They all have been greater than 5 minutes, which is a little unusual. Maybe because it's an IPO. But hey, who said we weren't going to get IPOs because of the tariffs? I think it's like the 3rd IPO we've had in like couple of weeks, right?
Weeks, man.
Yeah, CoreWeave.
The CoreWeave.
That other one, what's that called? The one that went parabolic. Newsmax. Thank you, Katina man. Yeah. Newsmax, NMAX. So it's been IPO friendly lately.
What is Newsmax doing?
Snoozemax. Who calls it Snoozemax?
That was not NMAX, baby.
It's like the opposite of snooze.
Oh, wow.
Tank Max right now.
It's Tank Max right now. 43 in change right now is Newsmax. So a high of 200 there, Sharif.
Okay.
Hopefully you weren't trying to buy those tops there, guys, because now it has taken a hefty, expensive haircut.
You ever watch that channel?
Newsmax?
Yeah.
No, I've never.
It's like
watched that.
trying to be the new Fox News.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right. So maybe we'll peep in there. Yeah. Let's see what CT2000. Hi, Joseph. I have a problem. For so long, I just like sell put and receive premium. But whenever there is crash, I lost a lot. Can you suggest solution for me? Thanks a lot. Yeah, no problem, CT2000. It's actually very simple. Just put in a stop loss. That's it. Right, so if you're collecting $200 in premium, what you want to do is, especially in heightened volatility, is what are you willing to lose, right? Make sure when you're opening options contracts that you check out the risk profile. You can use your charts to see where you're going to be wrong and how much you're willing to risk on these trades. I think that will clean up a lot of it. And one thing I was going to touch on as well, when you are writing options, it took me a while to figure this out, a couple attempts, and it cost me money. So we can just call it market tuition. So what I would do is I would write in my stop loss wrong, and then when I would hit the open order on my purchasing ticket, it would literally, I would enter the trade and then it would stop me out. So here, this is it, perfect. So I'm going to pull up my trusty tool here and I'm going to give you guys a detailed explanation on how to write your stop losses on when you write options contracts, because it is vastly different. Right. Okay, so we're going to collect $20 in premium here, okay? So you can see it. I wish I could make that a little bit bigger. So what this essentially is now that a broker is crediting us $20. What I used to do was I would set my stop loss at 15, or for example, at $10. But then I would open up the trade and it would immediately stop me out. What you need to do is, so you collect $20, so it's essentially negative. What you need to do is you need to set your stop loss at -40. Why? Because that is going to be the value of the contract when you want to get stopped out. All right, so that's what I found slightly confusing. So instead of it being -10, right, you want it to be -40. So now what that tells us is that you're not willing to hold on to that contract when the value of the premium potentially received has doubled and goes to -40. And that's when it will cut off your trade and buy back those short options. So that's what you want to do. How much are you willing to lose? Okay, you collect $50. I want to lose 100% of the premium I received. You are now set your stop loss at the options premium of -100. Start implementing that into your trading, and then therefore you're not going to be losing as much. Writing options is a totally different game, and if you don't have these stop losses in place, you will not be a part of it for very long. I told you guys about what happened to me earlier in the summer when I wrote some Tesla options. And I decided I thought I knew more and I would hedge more, and it resulted in a $2,000 loss in a span of a couple minutes. And yeah, I had to go outside for a walk. So that's how you write those options, stop losses. Make sure you have those implemented there, Sharif.
All right, Fat N. We're going to get another parabolic IPO. Feels like this is going nuts here. We were halted just a little bit below 16 at 15.95. We're now halted again to the upside at 19.31. It's now up 235%. It's really squeezing here. I don't have the information on it that I typically would have. Allow me a second here because I didn't put trade ideas on all my screens. There we go. I'm just going to check to see what the float is on FAT. And I don't think they're going to have it because it's just too new. Yeah, we don't have anything on it quite yet. Just a couple of fundamental metrics for the company. So just keeping an eye on this one. 1931. It's been a 10-minute halter most times, I do believe. Let me just double check that. The last one was a 10-minute halt. No. Yeah, the last one was another 10-minute halt. So this one's been halting 10 minutes at a time, so do be careful with this one if you are caught in a halt. Right now, though, the top is showing a friendly, you're long Fat N? You got long, eh? Good for you. The Katina Man's long, FATN. Right now, it is halted to the upside, 1931. The previous halt level, $15.95. So an easy $4 just like that. I don't have, again, as I said, too much in the way of information on the company, whether not like Idera gave us all the, what they do and stuff like that. But I don't have the float. I don't have the short. Well, there's no short float, obviously. I don't have the float. I don't know exactly what to expect in terms of anything else. So keeping an eye out on that. I'm not really seeing anything that I like, guys. I do apologize. Can't be in a position if I don't like it. We're keeping an eye on ZVSA, but we're literally 0 for 3 on this one. So I'm not going to try my hand at it again until I see something entirely different. I was looking at Apple, got caught up on Apple a little bit there. I mean, we're looking for something to trade here, 185.25. Apple was really aggressive to the upside and the downside. Started out the pre-market at around 183 and change, and we saw 190.33, and then all the way back down, defending 184 to the T. That is technically the low of day right now, $184 on the dot. We're also kind of putting some topping tail candles right now on the future, the NQ June contract. You got a couple. You got this candle here of indecision at 1140, and now this candle is kind of trying to put in a topping tail as well. So it looks like it's trying to retake 18.1, but the shorts are really keeping this down. And I really take to heart something Mitch said this morning, Mitch Hochul, on the morning rundown, and I kind of agree with it wholeheartedly. He's like, be careful today. You're going to see the bulls feel that this could be the bottom, and the bears are going to be like, no, we got more to go. So you're going to have like an epic tug of war between bears and bulls. And just looking at the Apple chart, you can kind of already get that feeling. A big move up to the upside, and I don't want to say an equally aggressive move to the downside, but a respectable move nonetheless to the downside. And you're seeing that on the future as well. Where were we at to start the morning here on the June contract? We were around 17.7, give or take. We got all the way up into 18,350. So you guys get that. We're almost talking 1,000 points here, not quite. And now from the top at around 18,350 to the down to about a little bit lower than 1,800. We've already lost almost 400 points, give or take, on that. So we'll keep an eye out on that. What's up, Katina, man? Check the tab on Fat N. The tap on Fat N is $24, guys. 22 now. It's zigging and zagging, Katina, man. You know how these things work. IPO, guys. FATN up 235%. Adara, what's breaking?
We have a couple things breaking. For now, we have Jameson Greer, U.S. Trade Representative, saying that they're going to be doing an investigation currently underway into pharmaceuticals with regards to tariffs. But this is TSM. This is the main reason I want to do this throw here. In case you missed it, there was, I think in October, a Canadian research firm had taken apart a Huawei phone and found a TSM chip inside of it. This raised a lot of concerns because of, I guess, trade restrictions, right, with regards to China. So with that in mind, there's been a lot of talk about that in the 6 months since. But now Reuters reporting that TSM could face a fine of at least $1 billion as a result from this U.S. investigation into the Huawei AI chip. So I guess this older story here about a TSM chip being found in a Huawei phone could come back to bite the company to the tune of $1 billion or greater. Back to you.
Yeah.
Another small cap gapper has weaseled its way onto the scene, Joseph. It goes by the ticker FMTO, and this one is flying up. This one's also halted, much like Fat N. We're going to throw on the ticker there, FMTO. Let me just have a look at this one. Obviously, yeah, this was sub $1. It is now halted at $2.65. It's up 380%. Look at this. It halted at $1.65 and opened up at $2.50. That's insane. I don't know what kind of a percentage move that is off the halt, but needless to say, it is going parabolic. Trade this carefully. The Katina man is involved in FATN right now, and we're going to shut him out for that because we love these small cap gappers, baby. Even though this one's an IPO, it's trading like a small cap gapper right now, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there, brother. I like that. So the market really starting to come in. I know Katina man short PLTR. Beer, yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Come on, hit it, Ozan. All right. So there you get your orders out there. Say, all right, man. I see you, my guy. All right. Are you gonna hit the gym shortly after too with the money in the pocket? So that's always a good
money
time.
in the bank.
Money in the bank. All right, yeah. So beer producer in the chat, good shout out and good identifying this signal right here on NVDA. Not on one of my lists. I mean, I was talking to him, referring it to Apple earlier. I believe last week. It's just it'll always have that volume just because of the float being so massive, and it's a very popular stock that is. But nice look here, and you can see once we break it to the downside, we just continue to move, and now possibly going to go and test that low a day. It's crazy to think that. Crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious. You know what that's from? But it's crazy to think that that we were down around the 80s yesterday, I think, Sharif, or was it the day before? Yeah, we were in the 80s, which is NVDA. It hit 87 at one point. Bro. So, which is absolutely insane. Now trading back up to one something.
That's pre-split.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's the price pre-split.
Yeah.
80s. Yes.
Yeah.
Before the 10 to 1.
So think about it. We were up at one. So say it was $1,000. It didn't split, and then we go all the way down to 80s. We took a 40% haircut. So that's like going from 1,000 to like $600, which would not be too good. I wouldn't want to be taking part in that. It's a lot better when the price isn't so large, but you can see that we're starting to run into some key support levels here, Sharif. And if NVDA wants to go down, I believe it's going to drag the rest of the market with it. Palantir's tanking, Google's tanking, Amazon's heading to the downside, Tesla's heading to the downside, iBit's going to the downside. Hit that signal one more time, my guy.
One more time.
Bang. There you go.
Oh, baby.
That's how it goes here in Toronto, moving south side. Watch out because the bulls in full control, bears, in full control, it seems to be right now.
I was reading an article today. It was really interesting. So obviously China, USA kind of caught in a tariff battle right now. China doesn't want to negotiate. Donald Trump's threatening more tariffs. You know what I actually read?
What's that?
China is actually, well, if you believe some of the rumors that are being spread by these bloggers who are looked at as Chinese government proxies, basically, okay? They're actually starting to put out there that they may be willing to not give US IP protection. So just basically steal your technology and sell it to other countries.
Yeah. There.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Like that changes the world, like
dynamic.
global order.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's
Like you don't have IP protection.
That's what Dan Ives
was he saying that?
was saying. He was saying, yeah, he's like, this can set the America back from a tech perspective 10 years behind China.
That's
right.
That's intense. Think about it, Joseph. So you're country A, right? And then country A has been buying from the United States at a lot higher prices. All of a sudden, China comes in with their better manufacturing capacity, their willingness to take lesser margins. Boom, I start selling to them and I take all your, like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna either have to put your foot down militarily, or there's gonna have to be more economic consequences that we haven't thought about yet. But like, that's what's being discussed now. IP IP protection. To me, that's there
you go. So
a whole new ball game.
A totally new ball game there, brother. What do you got going on?
We're watching Apple tank. That's what we're doing right now. I don't know. We just had it up on the screen. I think it's the overall market that's dropping right now aggressively. Yeah, we lost 18,000, Joseph. This is getting a little ugly right now on the overall market. We were up big to start the morning, but yeah, true to form, these kind of bounces may be a little bit short-lived, so be careful if you are going long. We lost 18,000. This was kind of a bear flag. You can kind of see that a little bit up, but we kind of try to take 18.1 again, and down we go, breaching the prior area low. We'll have to wait and see exactly whether 17.9 wants to hold up. That's the next 100-point area. We do have some pre-market resistance areas at 17.9, Katina Man. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that one very, very aggressively. Say it again. Fat pipe is open. All right, so here we go. It's up bigly. It's going to halt again, Katina Man. Here we go. We're going to go with you here. Let's see if we can get it.
This guy's riding.
Hey, we got it a little bit.
Riding.
All right, we're gonna ride. We're gonna ride. We're gonna go in. We just can't sit here at 1 hour. We're not in a trade, bro.
Hey,
so the Katina Man takes it early. We take it late. We'll see what happens with this one. But fat pipe is halted again to the upside.
Okay, that's good for you.
304%. Neil, it's the name of the company.
Sharif.
It's called Fat Pipe, Neil.
Sharif, don't worry about it. You know, we're in this together. You and we got this. I took it the last halt. The tap is now 32. We're long at $19.
What is the tap now?
Trader's going to trade.
$32.
Bro, you're in at 17?
Yeah, but you know
I'm
this
in at
changes every
19.
second.
I'm in at 19.
Like, yeah, the Katina man's long 19 and change.
So I got 20% out on the first open, and we're going to get another 20% out on the next one.
Bang.
We're looking at $10. Let's just wait to see what winds up happening here today. Also, if you come over to the screen here,
Go.
Miss Ramin, it's a face slapper.
Oh,
We left you guys with Palantir.
Let's
baby.
go.
We
It's the
left
Cholo
you. We
shirt.
left you with Palantir.
The Cholo
As we
shirt.
said, man, traders, Ramin, traders got trade. That's our new slogan right now. Traders got to trade.
Traders got to trade?
Yeah, so
All
we got
I
to sit in there
appreciate that.
and we got to
I mean,
trade.
There's definitely better
Neil
ones.
Neil likes it too, man.
All
Neil
right,
likes it
traders
too.
gotta trade, man.
So we're ready to
Traders
go,
gotta
man.
trade.
Traders got to trade right now. I got to match my guy over here with these ridiculous glasses.
Oh, ridiculous, he said.
There we
That's
go. There we go.
insane.
What's going on
I'm
now?
the only one that doesn't put on
days.
glasses around here,
That's
man.
okay,
I
man.
gotta
That's
get to
okay.
the party, man.
We're entertainers and traders, baby. All right, back over to the real deals
I
over there.
appreciate you,
Let's
Katina,
go.
man.
Traders
We
got to
get a lot
trade.
of love in the chat. All right,
Watch out,
the tap's freaking out. It's
watch
back
out
down to
Cholo
25,
Sean, man.
Joseph. So be careful with this one. I'm taking small shares. Full disclosure, guys. We're not taking a Katina-sized position. We're taking a Sharif-sized position. So we can manage this one a little bit more carefully. Keep your eye out on this one. It is exploding to the upside. It has been, it feels like, the last 2 weeks anyway, IPO season, baby. They've been met well. I think CoreWeave was a little, the opening print came a little bit below. Then Newsmax changed that whole narrative. I don't know where it got like over 1,000% from above the IPO price, right?
Oh,
Newsmax
yeah.
last week?
It was crazy.
Right?
Bro, it was at like 1,400% at one
So it's kind of, it's intense there. And then we got a new IPO again today. Fat Pipe. It's up 304%. Currently halted 23.27. We'll see exactly where this one wants to open up. It has been, Katina, man, were you locked in a 10-minute halt on that last one? Yeah. Well, in the halt, though, you were in a 10-minute halt last one? Yeah, it was 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it was a 10-minute halt. It's been basically 10-minute halts at a time. And I'll just show you exactly how I can tell. Super easy. My screen over here, you flip to the 1, and each little kind of underscore dash is a minute. So when you count those bad boys up, they come to 10, believe it or not. We are 3 minutes deep now into what could be a 10-minute halt. We'll see if it ends up being a 5 on Fat N.
Yeah, JVG. I love your show. The perfect mix of trading and entertainment.
Hey.
Neil, Katina, Cholo, Sean himself, man, and the Bash Brothers. Thank you for that, JVG.
You have
Yeah,
the
guys.
option to like and subscribe.
Uh-oh.
This
There he
trade
is.
has
The
unlimited
arm
upside.
cross. The arm cross is what does it for me, bro. It's like, you don't even know who I am, bro.
You know what I mean? Let's
even
get out
talk
of here,
to me.
man. I had to tap into LA Fitness again last night because I told you that the condo gym is closed. So
Oh, yeah, they're doing rentals?
Yeah, they're doing rentals there. So yeah.
I used the new equipment today for the first
How was
time.
it?
Sick, bro.
Is it?
I was worried a little bit about the hooks.
What did you all get?
So I'll take a video.
Okay,
You're gonna see the
yeah,
entire
send the
setup.
video.
It's like I've got everything in the way that I thought I like it, but now that I'm actually using it,
You're like,
no, I need to move around a little bit.
But
so.
in all reality, dude, I think those are the best gyms when you have just what you need and you just have it in your
Bang.
room, and it's just like those are where the real weightlifter dudes are.
I literally wake up,
Yeah.
leave my room, go to the other room, and I'm like my eyes are half closed, and I'm already, yeah. So
It's like, that's the life
wake
right
up.
there, man. Let's go.
Sorry, Christopher
yeah.
Mulligan, FMTO, opening up. Say less, Chris. We're going to load up that bad boy, but we're going to leave it on this trading screen over here because I need to keep my eye on Fat N. But FMTO is halted to the upside. So multiple halters today, whether it's Fat N, FMTO, they're all halting 265. This is up 380%, much like Fat N, which is up 304%. It's a squeeze type day, guys, but be careful with these squeezing names. They tend to reverse and reverse aggressively. You don't want to be a part of that, so get with the good times. They're around for a good time. They're not necessarily around for a long time, though,
No,
Joseph.
sir. Yeah, guys. I mean, this is what I'm seeing on Amazon and iBit. So I like that we have a potential bottom right here. You can see we have that double touch right here, guys. Very important. And then right here we have the inability to construct a new low, right? So we have a higher low on that front. So let's see if we can break through some of these resistance zones. I do believe this is going to be slower of a grind. I will add a little bit more to this position, but because I have so much leeway, I just want to start really, really small here, guys, in case the market wants to take another leg down, and it looks like that might be the case because the volatility just stepped right back in. We were in some Tesla, and I'm like, oh no, I missed the majority of the move. As we held support, but then we're just right back to where we eventually started. So not too bad. We'll take off that 33% right there and then get stopped out there. So that's not too horrible. Not a bad accuracy. I forget what tickers I completely traded. Oh, and I took a little scalp on Palantir this morning, which I should have held on to a little bit longer, but that's okay. We live and learn. I'm like, oh, we're going to break out. But again, my risk to reward, I wasn't feeling it. It did climb higher, but that's okay. Let's see what's going on with Adara happening now, guys. That's taking another leg lower.
This is the S&P 500 here, definitely trying to hold some support at that 514 thirds level. But will it hold? There's been a lot of catalysts to talk about today. All morning, more or less, at least starting around 10:30 a.m., we've had a Senate hearing here with U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer. He's being grilled by some Senate members about Trump's tariffs. I think one of the biggest things that he said here is that pharmaceutical investigation is currently underway for pharmaceutical tariffs, and the only reason they did not include semiconductors and pharmaceutical tariffs in their announcement is because they think both industries deserve further investigation. So keep an eye on pharmaceutical and semiconductor plays here. Now here's TSM. TSM is its own little catalyst. This is making some lower highs, lower lows. Basically, we had a report from Reuters suggesting that this TSM chip that was found in a Huawei phone about 6 months ago could result in a probe that could lead to $1 billion fine or more for TSM. And then we have, of course, FATN. This is the small cap du jour, as Sharif would say, massive small cap mover for Fat Pipe, 700,000 shares for about a $4 million IPO for FATN. Opened a little bit above its share price, but that share price was also below or at the bottom end of the expected range. So FATN and watch as we send you back to the Bash Brothers.
Much, Adara. I do appreciate that. Well, we'll keep you guys apprised as well. Still waiting on this one to open, Joseph. We halted at 11:54:22. Currently, I think we've got another couple of minutes, if I'm not mistaken. It is, I've got on my clock anyway, 12:02:32. So we're less than 2 minutes away if it is to be a 10-minute halt. History would tell us that it likely, well, I don't want to say likely, it might be a 10-minute halt because, well, it's past 5 and all the other halts prior to this have all been 10 minutes. We'll see what we get here. Great move up on this one. I just don't want the bottom to drop off while I'm involved in it. We'll keep an eye on it. Bovin, do you think FMTO is moving in sympathy to FAT? And I did think about that given the similarity, or is there news? So at FAT N obviously is the IPO, FMTO. This one, just looking to see if it has anything here. I don't see anything personally on it. This one, Femto Technologies, formerly BYND, Canasoft, integrated software company pioneering in women's care technology, focused on advancing women's wellness and lifestyle. All right, so we'll keep an eye out on that. But yeah, I'm not really sure if they're running in sympathy or not, but it is a technical breakout, so we will cover that for you, Joseph.
Good look there, guys. I know we do this once in a while. We haven't done it, so I'm just going to put it in the chat. And we want to see what everybody else is up to. It doesn't matter, honestly. It's not a judgmental, but we're just going to see how everybody's day is going. You can see I threw it up there. We're going to throw a small green up for the people. So just put it in the chat. Are you green or red? You can throw your dot, your apple, or whatever it may be, just to get a good understanding how everybody's dealing with this volatility. And it doesn't matter. Some days we're red, some days we're green. So just put it in there and let's see what everybody's up to on the day. Tesla continuing to bleed here, Sharif. We're holding the lows relatively well here on iBit. Still waiting for those emotions, those emojis to come in to the chat there, guys. So yeah,
my God.
Let's see if this holds up 44.40s. Are you still sitting in that? Oh,
Yeah.
It opened up lower.
Way
that's
lower.
That's
Yeah,
all right.
that's okay.
There we go. So we're getting the blood red, some greens coming in, and everything along those lines. We like the green heart. Never seen that one before, but good look. Ooh, the boxing glove red. Okay, getting the pulp. So yeah, keep putting those in the chat there, guys, and Adair's gonna hit us with some news.
Just keep an eye on Apple here. I'm seeing some reports here circulating on X. Apparently, some U.S. lawmakers are urging the White House to end the U.S. and U.K. data treaty after this drama here with Apple and its backdoor order from the U.K. So in case you were not aware, there's been a couple cases back and forth here where the U.K. government was, I guess, looking to allow officials to access iPhones' users' encrypted data through a technical backdoor, as it's been called. As of yesterday, the UK lost that bid to keep Apple's appeal a secret. So anyways, it looks like here, because of all of this Apple backdoor kerfuffle in the UK, 2 U.S. lawmakers are urging the White House to just end that UK and U.S. data treaty entirely. Also, something of note here, U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer saying that, quote, Trump will not accept a situation where Wall Street is allowed to run the economy. We've had a lot of senators bring up the drop here in the stock market. Jamieson Greer saying that really Wall Street is not Trump's concern. Back to you.
Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
that's what Scott Bessent's been saying. They've been saying the same thing. Like, oh, the American dream is not all-time highs every week on the market. So we'll have to
At
see.
all-time highs?
No, it's
Oh, it's not.
like
Okay,
the
yeah. Well,
So we'll have to wait and see. Guys, I want to talk about this trade. Got stopped out for a huge loss. Let's call a spade over a $3 loss on Fat N. It did open up. As it was coming to open up, you could see the theoretical auction price change. It was dropping from 25 to 24.5, and then like literally 15, 20 seconds before it dropped below my entry price, and then all hell broke loose when it did open up and it tanked down. So I had to flatten out for a $3 loss. So that's a bigger loss for me, especially in a small cap gapper. So we're gonna have to take it a little bit easy today and maybe execute a little bit better. Maybe not be so gung-ho. I just want to cover that, Joseph.
Yeah, no, good covering it, man. And I guess it's a part of the game, right?
Yeah,
so
that's the way it is.
That's the way it is. You took a shot, and unfortunately it didn't work out. It's happened multiple times, and it's probably going to happen to me here, guys, on IBIT. I'm taking a shot up here. You can see that we keep slamming into 44.5s, rejecting it. Pay attention to the tape at some key support and resistance zones, and hopefully we can, as I'm talking, I'm going to give us a live, I want to give us a live perspective of what defense on the tape can look like. So when we're running into 44.5s, you're going to see that flush at the bid and below the bid. And that's just a defensive move here, guys. So look for those key signals at support and resistance zones and help identify, okay, we're continuously flushing. It looks like the market is going to take another leg lower here. Sharif, I'm going to... You're still short the Palantir there, Katina man. Nice, flush it. Riding. We got one out. We got out on the open. Okay, so he's got the taxes rolling again in the hand. So all right, yeah, good tax time. Yeah, when's it? Yeah, there you go. This is it. We're holding this off here, guys. Look, we're going to watch to see if we can run into 44.5 again, and then we'll be able to identify that the defense on the tape. But it's again holding up relatively well, and we'll hold on to it until otherwise. But one thing to note is Amazon. I was going to look at Amazon for a potential long as well too here, guys. But we have these bottoming signals. But one thing to note is that we have those lower highs, and we're not sitting on top of this range, which is slightly alarming. And I thought that we would slowly start to curl over. So we'll be patient, wait on Amazon to display if it has any strength. We're now at these pre-market lows. Let's see if they can hold up there.
Holy, I didn't even really notice that BYD is up 6% on the day.
Jeez.
I mean, I got like the Chinese ADRs are all weak except BYD. That's say that again? All the EV names are up. Yeah. I know, but Katina, man, like this is very China. Yeah, your point well taken. 5.8% on Rivian, 4% on Lucid, Polestar's up 3.25%, Tesla's up. But I just didn't expect there to be a China-specific name, EV or not, Katina, man, that was very strong. And like looking at XPEV, Lee, Neo, Zeekr, they're all down except BYD. Obviously, Joseph gave you guys the reason why BYD is the monster that it is. I mean, its production capacity, its manufacturers, like combined, all that they have in China is larger than the island of Manhattan. Somebody was talking about, I think on a news show last week, or it was an article that I read, can't really remember. In any event, they have been like one of the major competitors to Tesla in the entire world. They're also vertically integrated, much like Tesla is. They make their own batteries, they make their own components. They also have a lot of, I don't want to call them subsidies, but maybe they are subsidies from the Chinese government where they help with raw material extraction, refinement. Not so different on this side of the world anymore, because a lot of the governments here locally and federally are helping do the exact same thing. We're subsidizing these electric vehicle, these battery plants. For example, Northvolt being built in Quebec. Now it's bankrupt, or they're going through bankruptcy proceedings. Yeah. Believe it or not, yeah. The Canadian government, in their infinite wisdom, chose the winner, Northvolt.
Oh yeah, great idea. To add to your point, I don't think that BYD is just a competitor to Tesla, but the whole car space.
Well, they make everything.
They make everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not even that. They're bigger than Nissan now. They're bigger than Honda, and they're bigger than Ford.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it's just like these guys, in 2018, they sold 100,000 EVs. Now that's up to 1.7 million EVs, and they're neck and neck with Tesla in sales.
Absolutely.
Right? And they can't even tap into essentially the North American market.
No, because there's 100% tariffs on all Chinese
people know what will happen.
Right?
If the BYD comes here, who's going to be going?
Exactly. And that's what we've talked about. We've talked about them giving these cars to car reviewers on YouTube, Doug DeMoro's, the others. They love them. And basically, they say the same thing you and I are saying. If they were allowed in North America, they decimate the North American car market. Yeah. Adara.
Sharif, we're going to look here right now at the market as we now, in addition to these Jameson Greer Senate testimony, which is still very much underway, we have Fed Goolsbee making some comments apparently on Illinois Public Radio. Understandably, he's talking about tariffs. He's saying that, quote, they are way bigger than the Fed was anticipating. And he said they're just basically much more than the Fed had been modeling for. So they were modeling to, I guess, predict the sense of what these tariffs would be. These tariffs have much outpaced what Fed Goolsbee and the entire Federal Reserve were looking for here. He also said that the Fed is going to take the longer view, unlike the stock market. So saying that, well, we have this short-term volatility in the stock market, the Fed is continuing to take a wider, longer-term outlook at how these tariffs are going to impact the market. But the fact that they are bigger than expecting does seem like it's going to be impacting the Fed's modeling and outlook here. Back to you.
It'll drag.
And because it's the weakest one?
Yeah,
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, and if it starts to climb higher, then it can definitely...
Tell them.
Yeah. So what we're talking about, Sharif and I were just like, hey, are we looking to put a potential bottom in here, guys? And I'm like, yeah, look at Amazon, right? So Amazon has the market cap and the size, the ability to drag the market higher. I was just referring to this base that we potentially put in and multiple bottoming signal candles right here. This could be a consolidation zone. Absolutely. But with this type of price action, you can see that buying pressure. You can see buyers really start to step in on some of these bottoming wicks. That can be a good bullish signal that, hey, we're ready for somewhat of a pullback. How deep is that going to be is a question that you need to ask yourself. And what is the target that you're going to look for? So if it does decide that it wants to break, what's our next level of resistance or support? That's going to put us right at 180.15, right? Because that looks like it took well, it doesn't look like it is a high level of support. You can see we held it in the pre-market and in just after we opened, and then we had multiple touches. One thing to note is that look at the size of this candle right here and the volume supporting it in order for us to break through those key levels, right? So that was a support level, and it needed that volume and momentum in order to punch through. Now we might be on the back end of this and look for the move back to some of these that support levels that can now act as resistance there.
All right, I'm just pulling this up. BYD Seal. This is the one that I want to show everybody. So this is kind of like the Model 3 competitor. We'll just pull this up for a second, let the ad run. But this is supposed to be the competitor to the new Model 3. It's called the BYD Seal. Let's just have a look at it super quick. I'm just going to try to move it over. So there we go. Now we can get a better look at it. This is a nice looking car. And for the price too, like it's a lot cheaper than the Model 3 for certain. I think they can produce them obviously a lot higher capacity, and it's a good-looking car. You can tell it's right-hand driver. 530 horsepower, 670 newton meters of torque. I just want to show the interior if we can. If we can jump up here, show yourself interior. Yeah, we can't jump into it real quick here, but that BYD seal, that's the sedan. I think their SUV's called something else. Give me a second here. BYD SUV, I forget what it's called. What is it called again? The Sea Lion, that's it. So this is like the Model Y comparison. So that was the Model 3 comparison. This one over here is the Model Y comparison. It's called the Sea Lion. I'm not really a fan of the names. I'm not sure what's going on with all this aquatic theme that they've got going on over there, but maybe it translates into something different in Mandarin. But yeah, these are the cars, and they produce some crazy en masse, Joseph. So that's a look there. All right, keeping an eye on Apple here, guys, because I'm not really liking much in the way of anything in small cap gapper world. 184 has been an interesting level on Apple today. It's been trying to defend it. I don't know if it continues to defend it or not, so we'll give this short a try here. We'll look to scalp a little bit if 170, 184 loses. What's going on, Katina, man? Fat N is open and halted yet again, baby. Let's have a look at this one. Where's it halted at? Same price. 1925. That's exactly what I'm seeing as well, my man. So interesting look there on Fat N. Keep your eye out on that. We're short Apple right now. We're taking some profits here into the low 90s. Joseph, what do you got, my man?
Bitcoin not wanting to go, so I don't think the bulls are going to engage today. You can see that we couldn't even curl up on top and break through some of these resistance zones. Volume stepped in, and we broke through some of these support levels, and that's when I decided to get out. So that's it. I mentioned the amount of attempts, doesn't want to climb to the top side, and the only reason why I'm saying that is because from a data standpoint, I know where I have a higher accuracy range. If I'm on attempt 4 or 5, then that just essentially means that, okay, it's probably not going to work for me. Between attempts 1 and 3, higher accuracy, and that's when I believe the thesis has its most potential to move to the top side. And I was referring to Amazon. Are we going to curl over? No, it looks like it was just a consolidation phase as we head back towards those support levels. So let's see what happens with that one. Again, you don't want to be selling the bottom of the ranges. You want to try to get up at around the top and sell at the top of the range and then start covering as you run into support levels and vice versa. You want to be buying these support levels, but not right now, as it looks like we want to take that additional leg lower there. So Bears still fully engaged here, Sharif. Let's get a percentage metric on Amazon to see how much we're down, because it has been taking an insane beating, one of the weaker mags here. So from the peak, 243, a high, and then at the low of 161, that's 33% haircut. We're back at levels around February and March of 2024. So see you later to all of this, gone in a matter of a couple of months. But there you go, taking that additional leg lower. Wow. Google heading lower. Yeah, the Q's heading lower. The short is in play there, guys. Bang. Don't try to force these longs like I just tried to on iBit, looking for that revert back to the mean. I think the Bears are going to be fully engaged. Baby, finally, we got a dub. Oh, you got a dub? I couldn't catch a dub for the life of me today, but, you know, we got one. Mark Susi, BYD has so many more options than Tesla. It's crazy, he goes on to say. I drove the SUV, and it's next level. Tell me more, my man. Where did you get to drive? Did you go to China? Or did you go somewhere in South America where they've got plenty of BYDs? Andre, lots of BYD in Brazil? Lots of BYDs. I figured, yeah. So Andre's from Brazil. Lots of BYD in Brazil. I kind of already knew that, but we got confirmation from the man. Yeah, I'd like to hear more about your experience with that, Mark. Tag me, by the way. Get it, Katina, man. Bro, love you right back. You know how it is around these places or around these parts. Shout out to the Katina man who's printing up a storm, baby, on Fat N. Let's go back and see what that one is doing. Still halted, guys. 1925 and not the year. It's at 1925. Currently halted to the downside. Yeah, Apple lost it everything, Carlos. That's why we took Apple short. 184, we took it down into 183.50. We'll take a 50 quick pennies, but it looks like a bad trade because it went all the way down into 183. So Apple is currently bleeding right now with the overall market. We're down below 18,000 again. We just, I believe, wicked off
17,907. So we got to 17.9. We were talking about that one not that long ago. The market has lost a substantial amount from the highs today. 18,357. That is the current high. Katina, man, we just lost 17,900. So the blood is in the streets back again for the Mag 7 in the overall market. So keep your eye out on the shorts. I really want to shout out Mitch. I don't know if he's watching, but he said it very well today. Today was going to be a tug of war between bulls and bears. The bulls think that this is the bottom. The bears think we're just getting started, and there's a tug of war back and forth between them. Adara, what is breaking now?
Well, Feds Goolsbee is still talking, Sharif, and what he's having to say is pretty interesting here. So we know that one thing that President Trump has repeatedly said here, at least as part of the justification for these aggressive tariffs, is he wants production to go to the U.S., and he also has been really clear that he wants international investment in the U.S. Feds Goolsbee coming out here and saying that businesses are not going to invest in the U.S. very likely because it's not super clear what the rules of engagement are. So Feds Goolsbee raising some questions here about if we're actually going to get this U.S. investment that this administration really wants. That could, of course, also be a little bit bad for the market. We know that we had Oracle, Taiwan Semi, et cetera, bouncing when we had these announcements of their investment in the U.S. back in January, February, early March. So Feds Goolsbee saying that this business investment might not necessarily continue if rules are not made clear. Back to you.
See your friend I Show Speed?
Yeah, I like Speed, man.
He's in China.
Yeah, Chinese doing like kung fu and everything.
He is absolutely okay.
We're gonna do that.
Do your thing, and then we'll talk about it.
We'll go to some Speed after. Unlocking the nuclear renaissance with Foremost Clean Energy here, guys. Leveraging one of the biggest mega trends on the planet, nuclear energy, partnered with Denison Mines with properties strategically located in the Athabasca Basin, known as the Saudi Arabia of uranium. The undervalued company is poised to capitalize on the exploding nuclear market and offers unparalleled growth potential. The future is nuclear. Foremost is your entry. On the NASDAQ under FMST and on the CSE under FAT, or go to foremostenergy.com for details. Scan that QR code right there.
Yeah, Foremost. So I Show Speed is in China. We know he's in China. He's doing his little China tour. Yeah. And it's super interesting. So he's meeting all these people that are very famous in China, and he has no idea who the hell they are.
Yeah, no
right? Like he's meeting like these billionaires that are like gods in China, and he's just like, oh, okay. Yeah. Anyway, so he flew in my favorite thing, the eVTOL. Did you see this?
Did he fly?
He's like sitting there crying, and then he's like, why do I do this? And what I do love about him is he refers to the chat in the same way we do. He's like, chat, I'm gonna die. I'm flying. Why do I do this, chat?
Dramatic. He's so dramatic. I love him.
He's like 23 years
like
younger than me, but
22,
he's a really interesting guy, bro. I gotta tell you, man.
Did you ever see the time where he just lit a bunch of firecrackers in his room? He's a loose cannon. He's just one of those kids. Yeah.
Isn't that Kai Cenat?
No,
that's Kai Cenat.
That was
right?
before Speed got really big. He lit a bunch of firecrackers in his room and just like was just freaking out. He always destroys his computer.
No, okay, I could totally see him doing that.
Yeah, he does that. He's a funny kid.
Unreal.
Guys, Bear vs. Bulls keeps on asking me about the Playmaker poll, so if we can get that up, it's now 12:30, so we'll get that up for sure. Yesterday we forgot, we'll double document what we got going on that front, so we'll get the Playmaker poll just up. I know a lot of you guys in the chat have been asking, so we'll be sure to do that. He isn't genuine. I think I Show Speed is 10 times more genuine than Kai Cenat. I think that...
I don't know too much about Kai.
Yeah, I don't think Kai's funny at all. I think I Show Speed is just genuinely hilarious because he has no idea. Did you see the one part where he's in China and he's like, and they start going like, meow, meow, and he's like eating something and he starts freaking out. So like they're making fun of him pretending that he's eating cat, but he wasn't really.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and he's just freaking out. So yeah, I think he's hilarious. I don't like Kai necessarily, but yeah. Anyways, guys. So what we were referring to earlier was potential bottoming signals, but it looks like it was just a really tight consolidation phase before we broke through those support levels and then moved another point lower here, guys. So it looks like the bears are in full control. I mentioned this before, and Amazon continuing to bleed. We were positive not too long ago. Now we're only up about 0.5% there. Sharif, up north of 3%, but now giving the majority of that back.
All right, we took another short on Apple, just wet the beak there into the low 40s. It's zigging and zagging at 50s, back into the low 40s it goes. Look, Apple's bleeding aggressively here. Let's just call a spade a spade. So we're going to look to take advantage of this intraday weakness. The futures continuing to head down too, but Apple seems to have a bit of support at 182.50. Not really sure why it's specifically holding up at this area, but I believe 181.46 is the prior day close. So we could see ourselves finding our way all the way down into that prior day low. So let's see exactly what we get. The spread's opening up a little bit here on Apple, which is a little unusual, not going to lie. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. What are you voting today, long or short?
I went short, brother.
You went short?
I did.
Okay, so short means we end up red on the day? Or
I don't know
just,
if it means that. I just voted.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe.
So we're taking some more profits here on the dead one, Apple. It's dropping down now even more into the low 40s. Let's see if it can continue to bleed. 40 is technically the low of the day, so we'll take out some right there. As you know, the low of the day sometimes does invite some buying, some psychological support. So Apple continuing to head down. We've given back almost everything now on AAPL. Blood in the streets for Apple and Timmy C and his boys. He's going to have to find himself an exemption to these tariffs. Otherwise, we could see $3,500 iPhones, especially if you build them in Jersey. And if you believe what our friend Danny Ives has to say, he doesn't think that there is viability in building anything in the United States. Boom! More to the downside. The long term gets smacked, but intraday at least we take something. It was a hard row finding any dubs here, Joseph, because these small cap gappers were not doing me justice on the day. No, I say that because I'm bitter. Obviously, they have no animosity towards me. Down goes Apple again. So we'll take a little bit more down there. Okay, finally, Apple headed to the downside. Everything headed to the downside. Joseph, you called it right. You said if Amazon lost that 178, 75 and a half bottom, that we would lose it on the market. You were absolutely right about that. I have to echo your sentiment because Amazon seemed to be the weakest of the bunch in terms of Mag 7 World. So if it was going to lose a bid, well, then it would probably make sense the entire market does. What's going on over there, Katina, man? You're just hitting it because of the $4 in the money on PL Dang TR. Shout out to him. Good look there, Katina, man. Shout out to you, my man. KC France. Tim Apple, get it right. Sorry, Casey, I do apologize.
Tim Apple.
My one concern in life is not offending you, so I hope you did not take offense to that. I do appreciate it. Thank you for putting up with me at this time. Yeah. What else we got in the chat? How did we end up here? 300% tariffs on USA cheese? Is that Canada?
Yeah, I think that's what we got on some of the dairy products.
But like, let's iron this kind of misconception out, Joseph. It's not blanket 300% right from the get-go.
It's after a certain amount.
Bang.
Yeah, it's after like.
All right, there you go. So now we're talking.
So good. We got to eat some of our own cheese too. I'm a big cheese guy. So I mean, after what Sharif is referring to is that after a certain amount of kilograms, that's when that 300%.
Exactly.
So it's not like oh boom right off the bat we're gonna.
Bro, you're talking to Americans. They're not gonna know what kilograms are.
They definitely know what kilograms are, no?
Bring on the hate.
Yeah,
bring on the hate.
Yeah,
I think Americans are. It's just the metric system's too advanced for them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you were living in England for a while, so did you ever use stones? Like how much?
No, I love how like that when in boxing is like. He's 2 stones, 15 pounds.
What? Like, how much is a stone? I
have no idea, bro.
How much
These are old.
How many lbs is 1 stone here? We got my trusty friend.
Sorry, guys.
How many?
I like this, Casey France. We only use freedom units, the best units. That's a fantastic
14,
response.
What a weird metric, 14 pounds.
It's bizarre. I mean, it's probably historical, no? Like
it has to be.
I love you
right?
and your co-pilot, bro. It's so joke.
Yeah, bro. Right? I don't know why you hate it.
I hate co-pilot.
Why?
Bro.
It's good, man. It's right there. You have to open up your app, do everything. I can just hit right beside my browser, hit the old co-pilot. Maybe we'll do a little competition, Sharif, to see who's slightly more accurate, Gupt or co-pilot. Okay. So this is what I wanted to get into here, guys, and I think this is what we're starting to see some true characteristics.
Counting burrito chips.
Who counts in burrito chips? Anyways, all right, the Piper, or who said that? Katie Damster. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking here, guys, and we're starting to see some true characteristics of a bear market. So we're not seeing any definitive bottoming signals, and when we are, they're just getting completely wiped out. So what I was looking at was I'm looking to place a trade here on Robinhood. I want to use some contracts. I want to leverage my capital, and I want to try to grab as many as I possibly can and feel slightly uncomfortable with. But now what you see here, guys, is, okay, we opened up above this range, we filled this gap, but then we just sell off immediately. I would look for more of a continuation in the trend. So we had a high of around 37. We're now trading around 35 and change. But what I would want is I want this to hold slightly better. Am I speaking prematurely? Possibly, but this is what I'm being able to see. So we got a nice rally here in Hood, but then we give all of that back and then some, all right? So you can see it was about a 20, roughly I think it was about 20%. Okay, 40% from the bottom to here, but then now we just give the majority of that back, putting Robinhood down south of 52% from the peak to the lows here. That is not good signs. That is not saying, hey, Joseph, we're ready to bounce. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. We have an engulfing candle here, and we have an indecision print, but there is no continuation within these moves when you see them on different prints. So let's go back to where we're more bullish and see if we can identify anything along those lines here in Robinhood. And I'm not seeing anything that stands out, but we have multiple bottoming signals here, flat. We have the inability to crack any lower. Then we start the rally to the top side. A nice big volume signature right here, and then we break it to the top side and we continue that movement. We're not getting that right now, all right? So here's another good signal. We move lower. You can see that the primary trend's still fully intact. We get a multiple gap down scenario, heightened volume, then we break through these pivot highs and continue to the north side. We're not getting that. That's going to give me some characteristics of a bear market.
All right, I flipped long on Apple because it looks like it's rejecting off the 10 exponential. So we had gotten a little bit extended away from the 10 exponential moving average. At least that's kind of been my read on Apple. It's been rejecting the 10 EMA since around 11:35. It's now 12:30, so the better part of an hour. Sure, there are wicks that breach that 10 exponential moving average, which will always, guys, be the green, solid line on my charts. So I got long I'll just show you the trade. I got long on the break of 183 and I went the beak all the way up into 183.50. The idea here was never to hold it. The idea was for a 10 exponential on the 5 retracement. That's exactly what we almost got. The 10 exponential is at 183.70. We got all the way up into 183.54. So I took the profits and I ran, but look at the vigor with which it's dropping. It just made a new low. Something's going on, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I think something just happened right now because the way that the market is moving is absolutely nuts. The Fuchs dropped, Apple dropped. He's probably dropping hot lines himself. We all know who I'm talking about right now. This is very, very aggressive movement on a name that doesn't typically move aggressively like this or hasn't for the last few years. So this has been great. I mean, if you're looking for volatility in a name that was, I used to call it the dead one, and I didn't just say that for the sake of saying it. It was usually flat all the time. It was Tesla and Nvidia that would be doing the big moves. Now Apple zigging to the top side, zigging down to the downside. So you're getting a lot of volatility in these names. Look at the way the tape is moving, man. We're done already 45 1/3 million shares on the day, and we've got another 3.5 hours of trading. So good luck right now. Low of day 181.96, essentially a 182 low of day. We're going to go to Adara in a second. She's got news for us, but this has been a very aggressive day, both to the upside and the downside on these markets. Adara, do we have an explanation for this?
We have something, and this is something I want to look more into, but I saw this on X. I think it's worth letting you guys know that this is happening. There is a journalist here by the name of Edward Lawrence. He posted on X 1 minute ago that he's saying the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said that 104% additional tariffs went into effect at noon Eastern time because China did not remove their retaliatory tariffs. Now, I want to do more a look into this to see if I can find any comment from Caroline Leavitt herself. She will be leading this press conference at 1 p.m., so hopefully we'll get some answers there. I will continue to search into this on my own, but it is worth noting here, journalist Edward Lawrence posting on X that apparently White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has said there are additional 104% tariffs that went into effect at noon due to China's inability to remove their retaliatory tariff on the U.S. I am looking into this right now, but I wanted to let you guys know what this headline is that is floating around right now.
We're gonna do 600%.
Yeah. Remember that video that he did? He's like, all right, we can have two guys and say, hey guys, listen, we're gonna tax you guys 25%, or we can have somebody come in and be like, hey, listen guys, we're gonna tax you guys a bunch of bad words in between there, but we're gonna tax you 25%. And it's like, all right, it's all about. He's like, yeah, it's all about delivering the message and who sends it.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
It's all about the. There you go. Keep riding it. You're riding the bull now, eh, Katina man?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
went from the bear. These guys. Long TQs, I like that one. Let's see if that comes into play.
Attaboy, Katina man.
And
See that new commercial where they like don't half-ass? No. Oh, you watch CNBC a lot, right?
Yeah, but I don't. It's not like on TV. It's just YouTube.
Oh, okay,
right?
okay,
So
yeah.
I don't have. I just
So
don't think I'm
funny.
watching
There's like
commercial.
half a donkey walking around the streets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
The half.
literally half,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Don't
There you go.
half-ass."
So
And
the
I just saw the
college-
burro there.
The old college try.
The old, yeah, exactly.
So here, this is what Katina
Wow,
Man.
we're
This is what
bleeding.
Katina Man's going long off here, guys. You can see that we have a bunch of indecision, a nice volume signature right here, but some bottoming signal
I know.
possibly, and then he's going to take the long up there. So that's a good, potentially a good look there for Katina Man. Tesla continuing to bleed here, Sharif. Google heading towards those lows and staying around there. Palantir continuing to bleed, and Amazon looking like it wants to put in a new low a day here, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Blood in the streets, Joseph. There's just no question about that. We're taking profits again here on Apple. We're taking Apple short. Again, we'll see if this one wants to continue to drop. It's zigging and zagging right now. Aggressive movements here. We're at, where are we on the future? 17,812. So we haven't quite made it down into that 17,800 area. The reason I say that is because, well, you know, I like to look at these areas at 100-point levels at a time. So that's kind of my thinking there on Apple or on the future. Boom to the downside again on Apple. Can we get a 50 print? We're gonna wait in the low 50s. We'll see if we can get something around there. Sadly, I didn't get my ad when it popped up. Boom again. I wanted that 182 and change, and I didn't get it. I tried to add when it spiked up on the dead one Apple. Well, it's certainly not dead today. Let's see if it loses 50 pennies. I could take out a little bit here. That's exactly what we'll do. We'll wet the beak a little bit there in the 50 penny area. I'm still going to keep my my ad above that 182. So if it wants to spike into 182, we'll get that. The blood in the streets. Guys, we're almost $10 off the highs. It is a 190.34 HOD on Apple. Apple is now negative, Katina man. The just technically went negative 181.40. Blood right now, guys. We're still not at 17.8, but it feels like we could get there awfully soon. Adara LePage, what is up?
Oh, hello, DJ Khaled. So basically, I just want to give a recap for this move down in the market that we just had. Apple really pushing to the downside, likely because this story does involve China and tariffs. So in case you missed it, there is this reporter on X. His name is Edward Lawrence, and he does work with Fox Business. He had posted that apparently White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt told him that a 104% additional tariffs went into effect at noon Eastern time. The reason for these tariffs is because China did not remove its retaliatory tariff. Apparently, even though it went into effect at noon Eastern time, it's not going to start being collected until tomorrow. So that's something to be aware of here with regards to this market and this push to the downside. Again, I have not seen any confirmation here from Caroline Leavitt herself or the White House as of yet. They do have a White House rapid response team on X. I've looked into that. So if I see anything contradicting this story or confirming this story, I will let you know. But as of right now, Fox News reporter or Associated Fox Business reporter here saying that we do have 104% tariffs coming through for China. Back to you.
There you go. Some more tariff talk there, guys. Let me know in the. What was I going to say? I mean, it's really tough to determine. And some people in the chat had some good points. In hindsight, hindsight is 2020, right? Could he have gone a better way of negotiating these tariffs, being like, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. Come this time, you have X amount of days. Unless you start to negotiate, then we're going to stop you with those tariffs. No, it's just bang, automatic. There you go, tariff for you, and tariff for everybody. There's definitely better ways, but the market is not digesting it very well whatsoever. And what Sharif was saying earlier is that if you want to make iPhones in America, it's going to cost you around $3,000 to $3,500, and I personally would not be buying an iPhone for that for that amount of price. And then someone else was referring to some option stuff. Yeah. Like that's the danger, right? So you got to be prepared for large gap ups and gap downs, and you can't. There's nothing you can really do, especially if you have a lot of size on with contracts. You got to wait until that open. I mean, if you're buying some contracts and you want to lock in a price, that means you have to sell shares in the pre-market, and some people just don't have that type of capital. So you're at the market's mercy in the pre-market and the post-market with options. So just be aware of that stuff there, guys. Yeah, he did exactly. He did warn a lot of people. Is there better ways to go about it? Absolutely, but I just mentioned that hindsight is 20/20. So the way that we see the market. So that's it. Yeah, exactly. So normal special. I get some tariffs as well too. So I mean, guys, this is what I'm referring to. All of those potential turnaround signals are just getting blown through. So you can see what we got going on with the TQs here as well. So around 43, you see some bottoming signals here, but then we just blow past that and head another 50 cents lower. So I think this is 3x. Is that going to put us around flat here on the Qs? I think so. And yeah, okay, so we're still up about 1%. We were up like 3% earlier in the day, Sharif, but giving back a nice 2%. And I do believe that we continue and head towards these lows just from a daily perspective as well too here, guys, right? Like you can see that any form of pop is just getting faded here. So breaking news with Adara. As soon as we get that word, we're going to send it off to her. So Adara, what are you up to?
They're currently setting up the White House press briefing right now with Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary. She's about to hit the podium. The stream is live right now, though it's just an empty podium. So I will definitely be watching that. Again, we saw Edward Lawrence, who is the Fox News White House correspondent reporter here, saying that Caroline Leavitt has said that the 104% tariffs went into effect here at noon Eastern. They will start, I guess, collecting these tariffs at midnight. But yeah, we're just waiting here for her to take the podium. Hopefully we'll get some clarification in this story because it has not yet been confirmed. And she is about to take the microphone now. I will keep you guys posted of any updates I see. Back to you.
Yeah, I don't know, Pimpy Longstocking, I don't know what you're saying, or JCB Sports, please be open and honest. I don't know what I haven't been honest about. And I've been fully open about some of the losses and everything I've endured. So yeah, just please a little more care. You can call Donald Trump. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, no, listen, everybody's opinionated, and I'm not going to give mine, right? Because it'd get everybody going, but it is what it is, right? And we got to play the price action. We can sit here, we can whine, we can moan about everything, but we got to figure out how to navigate this price action and this market, especially if we're here trading day by day, right, Sharif? So that's what our job is going to be. That's exactly what I'm trying to do, just trying to navigate this volatile market. Expect it when he comes out, he's going to say something. The market can either rip or tank, and it is what it is. Just try to be on the right side of the price action.
Yes, sir. We're still short Apple over here, taking scalps. I took all the way down into 179.50. Where do we have? We have 18, so 180s on the dot over here after the ad. So let's see if we can get a little bit more. Boom, again, down into the 60s. Oh my God, look at this, dude. This is absolutely flushing down. There we go into the third of a dollar. We're gonna take more out here as well. Get it, Apple. Oh, we're out of shares. That sucks. That's okay. Good trade there. 180 defend. The blood is flowing right now to the downside on Apple. This thing was up 4.5% or something like that. It is now down 1%. Adara brought us the news. Why? Very, very China related, obviously, is Apple, despite the fact that they came out with a headline this morning, reports the Wall Street Journal, that they are trying to shift the majority, well, not the majority, but a large part of their production, iPhone production, that is, to India, and, to help them save a little bit on the tariffs. 54% previous, before Donald Trump added another 54% tariffs on exports coming out of China, whereas I think India was 20 some odd percent. So a big difference there. Didn't matter to the markets. We're selling off aggressively. We're down below 180 again. We just touched, I believe, 179.07. That is the low of day. This could get worse, guys. So we're going to continue to short Apple. It is the one that's making a very directional move to the downside. We are over now $10, $11 from top to bottom on $179 name, Joseph. So lots of blood in the streets. We'll continue to trade this one in whatever direction it so inclines us to trade it. So right now, I'm still looking short. I want to see if 180 ends up being any sort of important level over here, but the future's losing it as well, baby. Again, 18,357 high a day on the NQ June contract, and now the low of the day is 17,644. So almost we're closing in on about 1,000 points there. Lots of weakness right now in the market with Apple now and Tesla, the only two Mag 7 names in Redsville. NVIDIA was up over, I think, 7%, 8%, something like that. Guys, we are now down to 2%, so you're seeing widespread erasing of the gains that we had this morning on the Mag 7 and in the overall market. Let's have a quick look to see if there's anything going on over here in small cap gapper world, because I feel a little out of my element, not going to lie, trading these large caps, and there's nothing that pleases me right now. Absolutely nothing on the small cap gapper side of the equation. FMTO looks good, but it's just an insane halter. It's above the 10 exponential moving average, halted at 374. I don't want to be caught in another halt. I already got caught in that halt on fat N. So yeah, it's a bit of a tougher look there for the small caps today. Pretty Panda, Sharif, Joe. Okay, guys, been jackhammering in the basement in my 100-year-old renovation project for a few days now. Daylight is nice, I must say. Anything happened in the markets?
Oh.
You're obviously joking. Obviously, you put ha ha ha. Yeah, a lot of stuff happened, Pretty Panda. And I know you're a small cap gapper trader as well. Shout out to you, my man. It has been a tough little while for the long-term accounts. It feels like a really long time.
It does.
It feels like a really long time that we've been doing this, but yeah, it's the situation.
It's been in a bear market for 3 days now, so
yeah,
there you go. It feels like a lifetime. I mean, a whole year.
Patrick Riley, you're killing me, bro. Take it easy there, Patrick, with you innuendos. It's funny, but yeah, take it easy.
Smith, I don't even know what that means.
All right, I love this. Big Earn 29. Big Earn, okay. I would love having a beer with you guys and hear your unfiltered opinion on the current affairs. I think we give our unfiltered opinion. Obviously, we have to, be a little bit.
Oh, the beers would remove the filter for sure.
Yeah, I have, for the exception of the drink on New Year's Eve, I haven't touched alcohol in all of 25. Okay? Yeah, it's not, I have no inclination to want to drink, I gotta tell you the truth. What's going on over there? Oh, yeah, I appreciate you, Neil.
That's good stuff,
I appreciate you, Neil.
But that's why you have like a 2.5% body fat, I guess.
That's not accurate, but thank you for saying that.
It's more like, yeah, I mean, it's down there, man, so good work. Do
you have any unfiltered opinions that you want to express at the moment and elicit vitriol from the chat?
Yeah, I'm going to keep it relatively filtered here. Yeah, well, I could say a bunch of obscenities and everything.
You don't have to be obscene. Give them the goods,
okay,
baby.
Yeah, I'm rattled myself, right? Like, come on, like the long term is getting absolutely like taken 100%. Behind the woodshed. Someone said, hey, I had 100% return and it's now down to like 0.5%. I'm like, yeah, try having that like 4 times. It sucks. Like 100%. Google, Apple, Tesla, I got out of that one. Had like options like returns in Tesla. See you later, gone. I'm like, okay, at that point, I don't even want anything to do with that. Yeah, I'm just.
I remember you were mad at Elon.
Yeah,
you were legit mad at Elon.
I was mad at Elon. I said, dude, what do you do? Like, I obviously didn't say it to him, but I'm like, yo, what is going on? Are you here to run Tesla because you have all these promises, you've yet to deliver on all of them? Where's the Roadster? Where's the Model 2? Where's this cheaper thing? What's going on? You got your hand in too many different baskets. Yeah, exactly. Like, just focus back on Tesla. BYD is starting to take market share from you everywhere around the globe. Do you really care that much about Doge? I don't know.
And the brand destruction, that's the thing. Look, you don't have to disagree with Elon on his positions. But what you can disagree with him on is his choice to voice it
Yeah.
and choice and actions that he took. Why? Because it has an effect on the stock price. So even if you were to agree with him on policy issues, on social issues, and you genuinely think that he's in the right, I'm not saying he is, but I'm saying if you think he's in the right, that doesn't equate into the actions that it doesn't equal that he has to take those actions because, well, he's a public company CEO.
To quote Elon himself, who quoted something,
cooking, by the way.
was offer me money, offer me power, I don't care.
The David Faber interview. I'll never forget that.
He legit doesn't care.
Yeah.
And with that, I honestly don't want any part of that, but let's see what Adair's up to.
Boom.
Guys.
In addition to this Caroline Leavitt White House press secretary conference coming through at 1 p.m., we also have a auction I want to make you guys aware of. This is just the market here, a little bit of a bounce. I'm not seeing anything necessarily associated with that bounce news-wise, but at 1 p.m., in addition to this press conference, we will have a 3-year note auction. So be aware, note auction and press conference here with White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt coming through in about 10 minutes. Back to you.
And speaking of Elon, Sharif, I'm long Elon right now, so let's see. Like, I'll like him a little bit more if we get this pop here. But some nice indecision prints on the 5-minute, guys. You can see that 5-minute candle. Now, Katina is on a heater today.
He is.
So be aware of that. It's the shirt. It's the shirt.
I like it.
Yeah, it's the shirt. So we got that one coming from Katina.
New shirt gang, baby.
Is it Lulu? Come on, you don't know it's Lulu. That's
Is that
crazy.
a Marissa purchase though? The truth, Katina, man. No, it's
pick
not.
that out?
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
That's not true.
That's right.
That's not true. What a guy, bro.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right, we shorted Apple again, Joseph, and I'm just going to keep shorting. The reason I got short here, 181.40 is the closing print from yesterday. So wicked into 181.50, rejected 181.50. I tried to get 30s. It didn't have me. I ended up getting teens, and then we scalped all the way down into the 70s. I'm going to keep shorting Apple on the pops until it shows me it has the ability to either take the 10 exponential moving average on a closing basis, not a wick basis, or start putting in aggressively higher highs and higher lows. It did bounce off 180. So I was prepared to look long. I honestly was. It did have a bottoming tail candle through 180. Calm down, Joseph.
That is actually
I can't even concentrate right now.
No, that's honestly one of the funniest chats I've ever read. Classy Gorilla says she can't even, or they can't even afford a super chat. So
you're killing me, bro. What the hell's going on over here? All right, shout out to you guys. Steven or Stefan, I'm not sure. Sharif, I understand what you were saying about Elon's duty to the brand, but also consider that part of the brand is Elon's persona, and that the rocket guy and also the outspoken guy, I gotta agree with you, dude. I don't think that you're wrong on that. I think that his proponents like what he's doing. But, you know, there are those people that are agnostic, that are in it for the investment because they see all the technology that he's able to bring to the market and could really do without the public persona. But I think that his supporters obviously would champion. His detractors hate him anyway, right? So they don't care one way or another. They're gonna dislike him, period. I get your point completely, and I respect your opinion. I just think that, you know, he's a public company CEO, and, you know, there may be some different rules that come with that. Whether we like that or not, or whether that's fair, is a different story. But I don't know. I respect your opinion. I do definitely agree with parts of it. So thank you for chiming in there. Well put comment, by the way. Usually people just get angry and aggressive. Yours was thought out and quite coherent, so I do appreciate that. All right, guys, let's have a look at the small cap gappers and see if there's anything moving. Okay, so FMTO is now at VWAP. In addition to it being at VWAP, it's at the $3 level. This one's halted to no end. So let's go ahead and have a look over here at FMTO to see if there is a trade to be had. I don't even have it up on a trading screen. Allow me a minute. FMTO on the NASDAQ. There it is, halted currently at, as I mentioned, 303. The tap not very positive here, 265. So well below that 303 halt. Christopher, my man, is from Canada. 279 Canadian. This is for Casey Gorilla. Rest in peace. Our high of days, our hodls. Our hold on for dear life, excuse me. Thank you for that, Christopher. And shout out, I'm pretty sure Classy Gorilla will appreciate that. Eddie R, let's not fool ourselves. His supporters, half of them don't even drive a Tesla. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I really don't know. But if you're talking about his newer supporters that are more right-leaning, maybe you have that. I think I would have to agree with you because they're not really EV prone. So I do respect your opinion, my man Eddie Eduardo. AREB's moving, says Mean, Gene, Oakland. Anybody who watched wrestling in the 80s or 90s knows exactly what I'm talking about. So let's have a look at AREB. Or if you're more inclined to watch older wrestling, which I'm really not. Yeah, it's a good look, but I have a rule with these small cap gapper-like names that they got to be trading above the volume weighted average price. We're about $1.50 from that. VWAP's at 11. This thing's trading at around 9.5. Thank you for showing me that, but definitely well off the bottoms there. $2 off the bottom, mind you. So good look. Mishem, Sharif, are you still short Apple? Position board doesn't have it. No, brother, I'm scalping. So I'll go back and I'll just show you exactly what I've been doing here on the dead one Apple. Every time it pops up, I'm getting short. So we'll zoom in so you can kind of see this a little bit better. Let me flip to the one. Maybe you can see it a little bit better on the one. There we go. So I'll get short there, and then we'll kind of scalp, get short there, we'll scalp. It's just, you know, short to pops kind of situation. And I'll keep doing that until Apple shows me a decided trend change. Look at this. If this is not a bear flag, then I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Look at this. Multiple bear flags to the downside. Down, pops up, dead cat bounce, drops again. Drops, pops up, drops again. So this has been a consistent pattern today on Apple and one that we've seen many times with stocks that are selling off aggressively. So keep an eye out on that. To New York Cents, Trump has never been EV pro or green pro. I think we all forget that, and so all this going on shouldn't be a surprise, right? I don't think we ever said that he was pro EVs, brother, and you know I don't think many people thought that. Canceling of the EV tax credit. He disparaged EVs during his campaign. He said they're okay, but you know they don't make sense for everybody, especially people with range anxiety. So he's kind of tried to walk the fine line. Obviously, with his association with Elon Musk, he couldn't be crapping all over EVs during the campaign trail, but he did take a position against them. I remember that specifically. He said he would get rid of the EV tax credit. He did. So I see your point, but I don't think that people were thinking he was pro EV. I personally never thought that. Did you think that?
No, I never.
No,
not at
I mean, I don't think that either. I never, for once, thought that. I figured, on the other side of the coin, he was pro-American manufacturing.
Exactly.
Now, if that meant building up EVs in the States, well, then he'd probably be all about that life, right? So. Yeah, that's a look right there. What do you got?
Yeah, so I'm in some Tesla right now, guys. We have some bottoming signals, but it's not looking too good as the market wants to take another leg down. So one thing that we have to note, I added to this position as well. So if we crack through 746, then I have to get out of this trade, so I'll give it a little bit of room. But from a 5-minute standpoint, it's looking like it might just be a breath here, guys. So you see that waterfall type price action as we break through some of these support levels, and then essentially for about a half an hour, we don't even put in a green candle. We take a little bit of a breather right here. That's just a consolidation candle. Then you take that additional leg lower, and it's kind of looking to be the same here in this attempt. Trying to grab these bottoms isn't probably going to work too well today. So we'll wait. We'll give it a little bit of room because I don't want to be out right at the crack of this, just in case we do decide to turn around. But with the likes of Google, Palantir, the Qs, the SPY, iBit heading lower, a lot of these names heading significantly lower here, Sharif. It doesn't look like we're going to get a bounce here in Tesla. If there's anything you guys want me to go over from an options standpoint, I'll do that right now. Let's see what we got going on. I mentioned that those high levels of OI on the SPY at where's our at the money now? Jeez. Oh, wow. Okay, that's not very good. So let's see. Wow, 75,000 at 510. We're now south of that, Sharif. So that is not good. So 510 didn't hold up from an open interest standpoint at 510, and then we had 515, which we were trading around 524 earlier today. So we're down 16 points. It's crazy.
Ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, you don't see that every day in the SPY. So guys, go ahead and look at your average true range and see how the heightened. And then Scott Tomlinson also in the chat said, hey, the calls on the VIX are extremely high. I was thinking about buying puts, but now with the volatility kind of peaking or staying where it's at, it's like, oh, maybe you might be right. But I don't know if I'd be buying calls all the way up here. That's just my opinion. But let's see if we have any form of a base on this week's expiration cycle here in Tesla. And how are we going to identify that? That's going to be via open interest. It's not 100% accurate. Nothing in this game is, but the most levels of OI we have at 220 at the end of the week. So April 11th, this expiration cycle, that might be in the works here. That's only about 12 points away. That's totally doable. That will also put us south of the this bounce that we had yesterday on Tesla. So not very good look. And not too much going on the call side either. 260, 21,000 open contracts. That's a ways away. What's Adair up to, guys?
I'm seeing on X here. Apparently, a U.S. official has confirmed that the U.S. is moving forward with 104% tariffs on China. They will start collecting them at 12:01 a.m. Eastern on April 9th. So basically, when the day switches to April 9th, U.S. will start collecting 104% tariffs on China. That has been confirmed by U.S. officials. I'm seeing on X, so it does not specify which official, and I'm not seeing which outlet is reporting this. Be aware, right now we have the 3-year auction, and Caroline Levitt is set to take the podium. I am waiting for her arrival here. I've got this invite here, so I will definitely let you guys know if anything is said. I suspect questions will likely be about these tariffs. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. Shorted Apple again, 179.50. We took profits into 178.80s. So it keeps on dropping, and the pops, I just get more short. So we'll keep an eye out on this one. It continues to bleed. Apple now down 1.25%. And I want to mention something here that Scott Bessent went on, I believe, CNBC yesterday. Oh, this morning, excuse me. And his opinion was that the relationship between the exports by each respective country is entirely asymmetrical. They say that the United States exports far less to China than China exports to the United States. So by slapping these reciprocal tariffs, China that is, on United States exports to China, and then obviously eliciting the vitriol of Donald Trump in response to another 50%, they stand to lose a lot more. So it's kind of, it's interesting here to see how this all ramps up, because I don't think that U.S. companies will lose as much from the Chinese export, or the Chinese tariffs on U.S. imports, than Chinese companies will lose on their exports into the United States. Fundamentally different here. And I had the number here on my morning prep. I did run out of it. There we go. So in 2024, the U.S. ran a $30 billion trade deficit with China, which has been around like that for like the past, I would say, 20 years. Because I remember it was about $250 billion in 2005 when I was writing my dissertation. And that was a long time ago. I'm just trying to find you exactly the right. Yeah, here it is. U.S. exports to China, if I can show the screen, are just 1/5 of what China sends to the U.S., reducing the U.S. exposure to retaliation. So you kind of feel that the retaliation by China here is more one of principle and standing up for oneself rather than a sound economic strategy. I mean, that's just kind of how I read this whole thing. Right? I mean, who stands to lose more from the tariff war? China or the United States? I mean, well, it's the one who exports more. And we know that's got to be China. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. I'd love to hear some of your thoughts in the chat. Danker says, exactly, China is holding the inventory bag. Dale Pellerin says, yeah, but look at the service trade deficit. Explain, my man. I mean, you're just giving me a one-liner there. I need a little bit more. Let's see what else people are saying. True, but not many nations can afford U.S. products. Yeah, but that doesn't really have anything to do with anything. It's about how Chinese companies get hurt. It's not about the fact that U.S., because their cost of manufacturing and their input costs are higher, that's existing anyway, right? So yeah, let me know what you guys think there in the chat. I'd love to hear some opinions. Eddie R, yes, but U.S. companies will have to import materials. Now we're talking, Eddie. Now you're speaking my language. Yes, but U.S. companies will have to import materials to manufacture. U.S. will lose more. And we've already seen China put some of these American companies on the what they call the unreliable list. There's also been an export ban on some raw materials. I'm assuming a lot of that will have to do with manufacturing raw materials. The question to you, though, Eddie, is are there other sources for those materials, right? Like, for example, can you get them from Canada? Can you get it from Latin America, anywhere else? That's what I'm just highlighting there. JCB Sports Cards. None of it sound, to be honest. I'm not really sure what you mean there. So explain. Who's this? Ivan. Assumptions of China get hurt. Assumption of China get hurt more. It's moving up too quickly. Because they export more and import more is less. Export less is very wrong on my opinion. 14% tariff on China means price hikes on everything from China in U.S. Well, of course, I mean, that I get that, but the companies that are making the money that are being spent by the American consumer, don't they get hurt if the tariffs increase and then all of a sudden other products that have less tariffs or are locally manufactured seem a lot more viable because the price difference is not as big? So let me know what you think about that. He goes on to say, this Ivan guy, because of the same deficit reason, U.S. consumer more likely to get hit much higher than the Chinese consumer. Okay, fair with respect to the consumer, but you're still not addressing the issue of the companies. These companies that rely heavily on U.S. exports or imports from the American perspective, what do? How are they employing people? What happens to their sales? Do they find newer markets? Do they have to lay people off? Or we already know that they had a bit of an unemployment issue, especially youth unemployment in China. So yeah, it becomes a very, very complicated issue. I'd like to hear what you have to say about that as well. Escape Planet, it's always the people that get hurt. Isn't that funny how that always works like that? Hypercube, World War II started partly because of weaponized trade. Kinetic action becomes the only means for a nation to achieve economic growth. This is why we have international norms. Well said. I think a lot of people do agree with you on that, my friend. I've been taking up a little bit of time over here. You got anything?
No, that's honestly, I was just gonna point into the point. I was gonna get to the point where, okay, so everybody knows that the American consumer as a business is what you essentially want to tap into. The largest economy on the planet. But at what point do we get to a point in this tariff war where it's like, all right, never mind that. We're just going to start making deals with other countries that aren't going to tariff us this. And then, okay, yeah, we may not be in the largest economy, but we can tap into this economy here, the EU. We can start going into emerging markets like Brazil, India, etc., and just be like, hey, you guys do what you want. We're done any form of business with you guys. We don't want to do it anymore. And we're going to find our revenue from other places and export.
Wow, bro. Wow, this is a Prince storm over here, man.
Apple,
Short Apple again, guys. This is like the gift that freaking keeps on giving. I want to read something here that somebody wrote. Are we going to Adara? Okay, go ahead.
Just want to let you guys know, we still have not seen Caroline Leavitt appear yet. During this White House press conference, I am watching two different feeds. One of them is live, the other one is not, and the one that's not live is actually the official White House feed. So once she walks into the podium, I will let you guys know right away. We also did get that 3-year Treasury auction coming in a little bit higher, or it's lower here than the previous print. And as I mentioned earlier, it has been confirmed by an unnamed White House official that apparently there are these 104% tariffs on China going into effect starting tomorrow. Looks like this press conference is starting right now, so I will let you guys know if anything is said of note here, including any potential comments on that 104% tariff. Back to you.
A very, very interesting comment here by an individual by the name of Martin Starry. Sorry for butchering your name. Here's the deal. There's a lot of aggression right now in the U.S. administration about the kind of manipulation that China has with their currency. So the yuan is not left to float freely against the U.S. dollar. And actually, I think it has actually two different prices, an international price and an interior price. So if I'm just trying to look for my notes over here on this, where is it? Focus on non-tariff barriers, the VAT, more insidious. Yeah, I had notes on this. I just can't find it at the moment. But that is a really good point by you, because I'm trying to find where to go. Yeah, I don't know where it is. I'll have to look for it later. I made it in my notes this morning. But essentially, they can devalue their currency. And by devaluing their currency, they make their export look more favorable, because you're buying with your currency and they're devaluing theirs, so you can buy more of their stuff. So even if there are tariffs, they can lower the price of theirs by devaluing their currency. And they do that, obviously, through the People's Bank of China. And they've been doing that for years. Yeah, this is really bad. Apple is absolutely tanking, guys. We got short again at 179. We covered into 178 in the third. We're done the trade. We'll get back in on the pops. I'm just going to short the pops. So something into possibly 179.50, 179. I short again. It's at 177.50 right now, Joseph. And there is a lot of blood in the streets. Adair's got more for us at the big desk. We're going to wait for the call. But this is a lot of weakness right now on the overall market, and Apple specifically, Adair.
So we do have Caroline Levitt. She just took the podium here, and she is in a white blazer talking right now, just prepared remarks. We're more likely to get some, I guess, interesting, surprising things, maybe your market moves, when we have the Q&A portion, which is not yet started. Right now, though, Caroline Levitt reading prepared remarks. I will let you guys know if there's anything tariff related, but it is worth noting she is talking. Back to you.
There we go. So continuing to bleed here in the market. Katina Man is short. Sharif is short. Apple as well too. So good luck there, guys. Time to do the playmaker poll. So we will get right into this. Scott Thompson told you. Yeah, I mean. Okay, so you bought the calls on the VIX? Nice. I'm glad that worked out for you. And Scott, I was going to take you yesterday, and what I was saying, I don't know if you left the chat by that time, but I'm like, dude, today I was right about yesterday. Sorry, yesterday, I'm referring to yesterday. I was right about the breakout. Tomorrow I could be wrong. And I said, what if I were to buy puts in the VIX? I would have been wrong today. So there you go. You were right today. I was wrong. So Sharif, I don't know if you're ready.
I'm ready. Yeah,
all
here
right,
it is.
All right, let's go. Let's type in. We're going short today, by the way.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready to go?
All right. Yeah, we are. All right.
504.98.
504.98.
So we're taking profits at 502.98.
502.98.
And then we're stopping out at 505.98.
505.98. There we go, guys.
Yep.
So we're going short today on the playmaker. We're in at 110. Not too bad of an entry time. Let's see what we got going on. I have to put this W in as well. Oh, I did already. Okay, so I'll just fix that up. And then we're all caught up from a data standpoint. So,
okay.
Yeah, there we go, guys. There it is, short on the playmaker. Let's see what else we got going on. I tried to grab this bottom here in Tesla, but again, just the sentiment is too weak here, guys. So you just want to follow that trend. Enough trying to grab the bottoms. Go with the path of least resistance, and that's to the downside right now. So, yeah, continuing to bleed lower and lower. It looks like the Qs are going to want to make another leg down, as Tesla now down about 1% here on the day, guys. A little bit more than that. So here we go. Tesla down 1.7% on the day, closer to 2%. We are definitely going to close red, I think, at some point. So that 3% gap up in the market today now eliminated. Yeah, for sure. Naveen Major could do a poll on whether the market tanks or goes up on Karen Levitt or Trump speaking. Which tanks more? I bet Karen. No, I think Trump will definitely send the market in a more array. So, Naveen, I can explain this to you real quick here. So essentially what this is we base a trade simply off of the votes, right? Come 1 o'clock, we enter a SPY trade, whether it's a long or to the short side. But what we want to focus on here is the data collection and our risk to reward ratio. No matter what, doesn't matter the percentage metric of the vote. If we are going long, we are looking for a $2 price target, so a $2 move in our favor, and a $1 stop loss. No matter what, every day at 1 o'clock, we're collecting this data to see what kind of equity curve we can establish with these numbers. And here we go. This is what it looks like over a span of 76 trades. If you buy you sell or buy the the SPY at 1 o'clock with a $2 profit target and a $1 stop loss. And this is what we come out with at the end of it here. So 76 trades, 75 documented, and you can see that it's a profitable system. That's exactly what we're trying to aim is this system, this algorithmic style of trading, is it profitable or is it not, compared to a discretionary aspect? So that is what the Playmaker poll for the individual in the chat who was asking. Amazon, I'm voting for that one here, guys. Let's see what the Qs are up to. I like Katina Man's thesis. He's like, just stay short. Fade any form of pops, as Sharif just said as well too. So that's exactly what I'm looking to do. Let's see if we can get another pop to the top side so we can take another leg.
Here it is, Joseph. I wanted to talk about this because this is the currency spiel that I was doing. So the People's Bank of China set the onshore yuan midpoint at 720 yuan per US dollar, the weakest it's been since September 2023. But you'll notice this onshore yuan. Offshore yuan held steady, while onshore yuan weakened to 733. The point is, the People's Bank of China does not allow the yuan to float naturally against the US dollar, which is obviously the standard currency. The point of that is that they can artificially increase the value of their currency and by the same token, artificially decrease it. That gives them a good, strong negotiating hand because it's a kind of a counteract to tariffs. So if you were to levy, say, 15% on top of their, I'm just giving you any random number, okay? On top of the cost of the good to come into your country, well, I'm not saying they're going to lower yuan by 15%, but there is something they can do to drop the price to make their products a bit more attractive. And Robin Brooks of Brookings called the UN devaluation a shot across Washington's bow. It's not something new. China's been doing this for years, and that was one of the complaints that the U.S. had initially. I think they took it to the WTO, not like Trump really cares about the WTO, but that is kind of what I was trying to talk about there. So it's really interesting what they're able to do. Guys, I'm still watching Apple over here because I'm still really interested in shorting the pops. Anything into the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. And if I can show you guys my black charts over here, off which I keep my 10 exponential, anything into this level, anything that touches the 10, I'm going short. So you're not going to catch me trying to catch the longs on the way back into the 10 EMA, but I certainly will be trying to catch the shorts when they do, if they do, get back into that TMA, or the 10 EMA, excuse me. So that's what I was talking about there. The U.S. does it as well, says Jacques. Explain, my man. You just can't make blanket statements like that. Explain how they devalue their currency naturally. What do they do? You're talking about interest rates, right? Because when interest rates rise, the U.S. dollar goes stronger. And when they drop, they cut the rates, the U.S. dollar gets weaker. Is that what you're talking about? Through rate manipulation? Is that what you mean? So let me know what you mean there, Jacques. Good contributor there in the chat, Joseph. Xiao Liang, I'm Chinese, and it's true. Shout out to my man Xiao Long. Hengaoshen Renshini, by the way. Caroline is speaking right now, says the cool guy. What's she saying, Adara?
No tariffs.
There's no tariffs. Yeah, okay. So we'll keep an eye on that. Adara's got that covered. Any breaking news, she'll chime in at the right time. Everything's burning down. Jay Lee. Normal Special, Stevenson, Scott, Sharif, really worth watching Patrick Boyle YouTube video on tariffs a few days ago. Send the link, my man. Jacques, again, Trump is trying to lower the dollar right now. He said it himself, lowering, yes, absolutely. Not disagreeing with you. He wants a weaker U.S. dollar. He wants one. But it's not like he just got one right away. That's the whole point of the independence of the Federal Reserve. If you believe that they are independent, I happen to think that they are. Because they control the rate environment, which is obviously a control on the value of the dollar. So just because Donald Trump wants it, he's not getting it. But I see your point. I do see your point. Casey France, the Fed doesn't even set interest rates. They give guidance on interest rates. Interest rates are set by the open market. Well, they cut rates, right? I know that there's the overnight rate and it's a range, but it's within a range. That's why it's like 5 to 5 1/4. I get that, but it's still within that framework, that narrow quarter point framework. So, I mean, it's not going to be above or below that. Jacques, you guys are the best, by the way. You're the best, my man. Shout out to Jacques. My man's dropping hot lines in the chat, and he's contributing in an effective way, which I do get a lot from the people in the chat that contribute effectively and don't attack.
Yeah, of course. And we talked about that before, man. Constructive conversations, whether you agree or disagree, there's nothing wrong with that. But just to add to the Fed a little bit more too, Sharif, I think a lot of traders are looking for the Fed to bail out the market as well too, with cutting interest rates. I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case, the scenario this time. But let's see what Adaro's up to, guys.
Just keep an eye here on the market. We do have Caroline Levitt speaking here at the press conference. I had not said anything yet because there wasn't anything super market moving here. Most of it's stuff we already know. She just said that they're going to be basically making deals with countries on an as-need basis. I guess if countries come, Donald Trump is willing to negotiate, but he does have a will of steel, so he's not going to back down or bend. He's going to fight for the American people. So generally, a lot of things we've already heard. Apparently, though, nearly 70 countries have already approached the U.S. to negotiate on tariffs. Right now, though, she's in the question and answer portion of things. So if there's any questions of note, I will let you guys know. Back to you.
Because I haven't been able to find trades.
Yeah, I'm going to be totally honest. I didn't want to get into this one, but I'm in it now. So let's see if we can get a little bit of a bounce here in the market. But any form of pop 42s, I should have probably hopped out there. That would have gave us about 34 cents on that trade. But again, yeah, trying to grab these bottoms. And I added to the position as well, too. I actually was looking at Tesla to see if we can get one more pop, but I should have hopped out right at 42. As you can see, there's a key level of support and resistance right here, and in this market they just get absolutely faded. So you run into those resistance zones, best believe there's going to be sellers, and you can see the weakness on the time of sales when we run into this. So I'm going to try to continue going here until we potentially come back and test 42, or I might get stopped out. So I have to be a little bit patient and not too panicking, because I did put on a little bit more size because I was thinking that I was trading TSLA, but I wasn't. So a little bit of a mistake there. So we'll hold on. We're not going to panic too much until otherwise, but a nice potential bottoming signal. Market really weak, so if we blow through that, there's most definitely going to be some more downside. But I just want to focus on the tape a little bit here, guys, so you can see. So again, just focus on this part of the tape, and you can see that when we have a large amount of orders hitting the ask and above the ask, we're not as reactive, right? So you can see, look, we're not moving, slowly grinding higher. There's a large amount of volume coming through, but then when we come to the bid side, look how much more reactive the price is, all right? So keep an eye out on that. You can see that we consistently flush. We had strong orders at and above the ask, and we're not moving anywhere. Okay, so what does that tell us? And then when the bid is flushed and hit, we drastically move lower. So what is that telling us? That the sentiment is to the weak side, okay? So this is how you read the tape. Even though I'm on the wrong side of the trade right now, this is what I'm looking at from an entry standpoint earlier in the morning. What is the time of sales telling me? And right now it's telling me that this market is extremely weak and I may be on the wrong side of that trade. That's okay. We're going to get out at the lows. If it cracks it, that's fine. We just got to learn from these lessons that when the tape, because it cannot lie, it does not lie, it is telling you the exact transactions at that specific moment. It's not like the level 2 where you can get those iceberg orders and the tape is printing something else. This is exactly what's going through the market makers. These are those exact orders, and you can see how reactive we are to the downside, and that any form of pop is being met with defense, and that's being displayed by hitting the bid and hitting below the bid there, Sharif. So
shout out to my man Stevenson, ATN.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Thanks for those gap lessons Monday. Just printed 1,200% on SPY and Q, and then SPY again.
Damn.
So we're going to drop the cash for you there, my man, because that's money. That's big money. Shout out to you. Great looking trades, and I hope you print up multiple storms, and this is not the only storm that you print. Guys, my man Bovin let me know that Fat N is back above the volume weighted average price. VWAP 1273. There it goes. spiking to the high side. It's a wide, prohibitive spread. It might halt again here at 678. Unreal, this thing, dude. Let's see if we can catch maybe a little bit of a trade on this one. I think anything below 15, I'm going to have to get out. Let's see. We're going to go long over here. Let's see if we can get in. We're going to get caught in an up halt possibly. We're long 78s. I don't want to be caught in an up halt again. I'm going to get out. I didn't want to be caught in an up halt. I learned my lesson last time. I lost $3 on that. So I'm not going to be in the up halt if it opens up and decides to stay open rather than just halt again in 2 seconds. Then we'll trade it. But look, you can look at this. This is really ugly. I literally got in at the high of the day, and then I lost $3 just like that on it. So I'm not going to do that again, even though it is an up halt. And I was caught in an up halt in the first occasion as well. So not for me on the day. We'll see if this one wants to continue trading appropriately, or we're not gonna look at this. I'll look back at Apple over here. It seems to have found a little bit of support at around 176.5, 177-ish. It's below 177 right now, but it keeps defending it. Now we've got a three candle setup in and around this 177 area. All the closing prints have been at or a little bit above 177. I'm not looking to go long Apple here at all. I'm just waiting for it to either get back into the 10 exponential, currently at 178 and 2/3, or what the situation, at least give me a 178 retracement, something off a key psychological level, a technical level. We'll keep an eye out on that. K, $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. Your news alerts are priceless. Real time, you had it first. Got to stay tuned in. Don't want to miss anything. That shout out to Joseph. Shout out to Adara. Shout out to myself.
Ooh, you put that one there? Are you in it?
No, I'm not. I hit it by accident. I was trying to hit the bang.
All right.
Adara, what's she saying now?
Well, she's actually saying some things about a name you've talked about a lot today, Sharif. That is Apple. AAPL on watch. Basically, one reporter asked Caroline Levitt, what are your thoughts on these comments that Howard Lutnick made over the weekend, suggesting that iPhone production would move in the exact way that it currently is to the United States? And so Caroline Levitt said, yes, Donald Trump believes that we can have iPhone production in the United States, but also that it's going to be elevated. Furthermore, she added that she thinks if Apple didn't want production in the U.S., they would not have invested the $500 billion in the U.S. So making some pretty bold claims here on behalf of AAPL, which is at day's lows. I guess the main thing here to remember is that White House said that Trump believes the U.S. has the capability to make iPhones and advance iPhone production. Back to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I kind of don't agree with her on that a little bit because I think that most things, you have multiple components for most products, right? And then not all components are made in the same area, right?
That's fair.
Like we were talking about the U.S. and Canada trade, and with respect to aluminum and metals, the actual piece of aluminum can cross the border like 10 times.
Multiple times.
Before it actually is a final product to be given to a consumer. So I don't know how I feel about that. The point is, about all that is, they can make things certainly in the United States that would be cost effective, and then some other things are not going to be cost effective, right?
I agree.
Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. Apple is really bleeding here. We are now 3% in Negativeville, baby. And I've been waiting for this thing to pop into the 10 EMA to get short again, and it's just not giving it to me. Quite frankly, it lost 177. It lost 176. It was briefly below 176 in the high 175s. Now, I'm not going to I'll just leave that one. I'll leave that one for myself. Yeah, I'll just shut up. I'm looking for a bounce here in some way, shape, or form or a bounce rejection. Sorry, guys. I'm looking for a rejection off the 10 EMA before I get short on Apple again. I just don't have a read on it right now. It's just dropping down, but I don't want to punch in at lows in the same way that I want to punch in at highs. So lots of weakness right now. While all that was happening with Apple, the future, and by the future, I'm talking about the NQ June contract, has been defending this closing print from yesterday. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to notice that. I know you're long right now, and that was a great entry given where you got long because that was literally the actual closing print from yesterday. We are on the border, Joseph, with positive and Negativeville right now in the NQ, barely above that 17,560, 3, 4, something like that we closed out yesterday. Not seeing much showing me here that we could get a bounce. We're below the 10 EMA as well on the future. We're basically putting in lower highs and lower lows on each successive 5-minute candle. So I'm not looking for a long personally at this point. But yeah, we are at a critical level right now on the future. Dara.
This part of the show is brought to you by ProfitX. In sports playing, flexibility is everything. At ProfitX, you can see the order book just like a financial exchange. Pick your spot and customize the odds to fit your risk. Why would you settle for a single offered price when you could set your own? Plus, our mobile interface makes it easy to play on the go. ProfitX, where you call the shots anytime, anywhere. Users can use code TraderTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cash back up to $300. Back to you.
Yeah, guys, I just want to talk about this here briefly. Just look at the weakness in this tape. This is a bad mistake by me. I got to get out of this trade as it's continuing to bleed here. So, and I didn't even want to be in that. I want to be in Tesla. So that's unfortunate. That's a pretty big loss that I didn't want to necessarily take. So there you go. Yeah, Casey France, it is what it is, right? Just on the wrong side of things. This is the sentiment not to look for any of these longs. I'm coming to that conclusion. You can just see it displayed here on the time of sales, regardless of what the tape is telling, the level 2 is telling me. Look at the weakness on the tape, and you get that continuous flush. See, there you go, boom, another flush to the downside, and another flush to the downside, another, and we're not reactive to those offers at all. So just pause, volume's picking up, boom, you get another flush to the downside. The market's continuing to move. So this is definitely a weak sentiment. This is not what I wanted to be a part of whatsoever. I should have got out when I got that pop up to around 42. Didn't. Looking for that extended move. You're not going to get that here today in the market to the top side.
Neil, I'm going to send you something that I think you might chuckle at here. A nice comment from somebody in the chat. Thank you for putting that in. Tech E? I get that. So it's T-E-C-H-I-E. Tech E. Here it is. Let's bring them in. Blackberries are coming back. Get your thumbs ready, baby, because Apple's going bankrupt. Neil's pumped about that, as he should be. I mean, those were good days. I don't know if you had, you have a Blackberry?
I had one, yeah.
You had one, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were good times.
Not for very long.
Not for very long. They were around for, they were like these small caps.
You know what's funny?
They were around for a good time.
When I got an iPhone 4, I was at this club in Barrie. I know you like country music, so you probably heard of the brand. I wasn't at
What's the name of the club?
It was
it the bank?
It was the bank.
Oh
my God.
Yes,
go.
the Barrie.
This guy
Yes.
knows the bank.
Hey, that was like the best club in Barrie. Neil's like, what's going on, bro?
Absolutely right. Yes, I was at the bank. Literally, that was my spot there. So, anyways, I'm walking down to the washroom. I just probably turned 20 at the time or something along those lines. And I had an iPhone, and BBM was still live. Like, that's how everybody was still communicating. And this girl stops me. I didn't even stop her. She goes, yeah, I like you, you're cute.
BBM.
Blah, blah. Yeah, and she goes, no. She's like, hey, what's your BBM? And I pulled out my iPhone, and she's like, ooh, I don't talk to guys with iPhones.
Wow,
like,
it's like the green bubbles now.
I'm like, what is
Things have
going
changed,
on? I'm
Neil.
like, you stopped me, and now that I have an iPhone, you don't even want to talk to me, and I'm going to entertain it. So, yeah,
I love it,
that
dude.
was jokes.
Remember after BlackBerry kind of fell off the boat a little bit, they dropped BBM as a standalone app on Android and
did they?
Yeah, they did. I don't know if it's still
yeah.
around, but
there you go.
yeah, that was it's interesting. I tried to get everybody back on BBM, all my friends. Nobody was like they had moved on. They had moved on.
iMessage, man. It's iMessage.
Joseph, we took Apple short again, 176, and we scalped into 175 in a third. This thing is on one. We are $16 now off the high, 190.34. It is now trading at 175.09. The blood keeps dripping here on the Apple short. It doesn't seem to have a bid anywhere you look. Nobody's stepping in to buy at 175. No one was stepping in to buy at 180. No one was stepping in to buy at 181.50, which was yesterday's closing print. Kind of a random number, I do apologize, but that is a closing print from yesterday. So Apple has had all sorts of red, especially since around 10:30 when the market started turning. That was when we put in the high. So a big move down now, and the NQ is now negative. We are now negative a third of a percent. The dead one deserves a short, right, Jay Lee? We've been shorting. Look at my chart, Jay. All the purple triangles are shorts, and there are all purple triangles there, taking this thing to the downside Obviously, it's not my favorite thing to happen, given that this is the largest position that I have in my long-term account, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. You can't deal with the drawdowns. Don't invest in the stock market. Find yourself something a little bit more, I don't know, relaxed. Mean Gene, let's BBM. Dude, I'm telling you, that was back in the day. That was it. That was it. It's like you had your little BBM pin. It was numbers and letters. And then I could, you know, scan the QR code or whatever the kids were doing at the time. I personally liked it. You could have status updates on your BBM name, like Sharif likes, I don't know.
With the heart beside it.
Yeah.
Dating
I liked it. I liked it. It's a different time. That time's done now.
MSN was probably the best.
On the computer,
yeah,
though.
on the
Yeah, that was computer stuff. Yeah.
I don't even know if Fabian and Ramin or even Adara would know about MSN, but that was.
You'd be surprised what Adara knows, bro.
Well,
she punches outside her weight
logically,
class.
she would know, but I don't know if she lived in the air of. Do you MSN a lot?
You used to.
You still have MSN?
I didn't even know that they had the service, Fabian. I thought they shut that bad boy down. Like, but it's called Outlook.
It's called
MySpace. Obi, that's a blast from the past, baby.
That's crazy. I never even had MySpace.
Remember that guy that created MySpace and okay, well, if you didn't have MySpace, you don't know. Yeah.
Well, like, I just never had that thing. I didn't even have Facebook until my friend in high school was like, yo, you got to get on.
I was one of the early adopters. Yeah, I got Facebook like fall of 06.
I was like grade 9 or 10 when I had Facebook.
Yeah,
and it was still new at that time, right? Then mind you, grade 9 or 10, what year was that? 2007? Jeez.
Whew. All right, guys. Yes, number one friend Tom Casey France, you are an OG, another OG, Adara LePage.
Thank you for that transition there, Sharif. For the record, I was never on MSN. So here is FXI, and I think it's something worth noting here. Caroline Leavitt did confirm that additional tariffs on China are going to go into effect on April 9th. As we heard earlier, we were hearing 104% tariffs coming through here on China. So keep an eye here. FXI at day's lows, like a lot of things right now. As we do get confirmation, additional tariffs are going to be happening here for China going into effect as of, I guess, midnight there on April 9th. Interesting, too, apparently the S&P 500 was on pace for its best day since 2022. As of this morning, currently not the case. Back to you.
Yeah, it's a tough look.
It is a tough look, Sharif.
I don't know what else to say, Joseph.
Man.
Everything
Nothing else.
down.
It's all a tough look across the board. Like, look at this waterfall type price action here in Bitcoin. I mean, there is no pullbacks. You're getting no breath in some of these underlying assets. It is straight to the downside, consolidation, another leg lower, and this candle right here doesn't even look like we have any form of support system being put in right now. It's just continuous bleeding. We're most definitely going to give back all of what we've gained yesterday. I have no doubt about that. We're actually approaching that right now here in Bitcoin. We're just a point or two away. We're going to head into this $41 here, but that would put us in the low 70s here in Bitcoin. The only positive note is that I'm going to get a couple dollars from Sharif, and that's it. Other than that, I can't say like, yeah, the count's looking good, anything's looking good. I win a measly $50 and lose tens of thousands in the long-term account here. So frustrating at the least, but again, I think we are going to head into a bear market into Bitcoin as well too, Sharif. Even though we are already there from the top, we are down 27%. So we have been in a bear market for the better part of about a month or so now in Bitcoin.
All right, just give me 1/2 second over here.
Since February,
there we go.
Essentially.
All right, what are we doing? We're paying some bills here, Joseph. So let's have a look at the calendar. E-Signal, baby. New traders, listen up. First month, it's free. That's right. We're waiving the fees. You get to trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite. It'll help you analyze, strategize, and then hopefully after all that, you'll capitalize on their platform that has everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. You get to predict better with excellent backtesting, and you get reliable real-time data, global markets literally at your fingertips, all in one platform. Do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading. Scan that QR code. Boom on Apple again, baby.
Wow,
It's short again. We just added there again, Joseph. We'll be taking out more here. Boom again on Apple. Let's just get a little bit lower. Trigger my order, please and thank you. Adara, what's up?
I mean, I guess what's down here, we did get a little bit of a push to the upside briefly in the markets. I'm not seeing any specific catalyst for it, but I do think it is worth noting. Caroline Levitt was asked about the potential for a deal between China and the U.S. on trade and tariffs. She did say that if China makes a deal, Trump will be, quote, gracious. So saying that actually Trump does want to deal with China and he will be gracious if they approach him, they just have to make the call to him themselves. So that's something of note here. I guess it looks like China and U.S. might still have some hopes when it comes to that trade relationship, according to Press Secretary Caroline Levitt. Back to you.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, obviously he wants it. Look at the market. In the SPY, we're down 21% at the low, so that's officially bear market territory right there, guys. So again, giving back up. We gapped up here. That's a nice gap up here from an intraday standpoint, trading higher in the pre-market. And I mentioned I don't love it when we're highly extended like that, running into some key cam levels as well too. And sure enough, we just flushed right back to the downside, going back to south of that 20% mark, or only 17.8% there, Sharif, on the SPY from the peak to where we're currently trading at. So just keep that in mind. I do believe there's going to be some more downside, and I think that 457 may be in the works here in the SPY. And I know you were referring to it. There might be another 50% additional from what we have already moved to the downside, which would be absolutely ugly and just wipe out years and years of wealth, which is really, really unfortunate, but it is what it is.
It is. Yes, I just took the first L there on Apple. Tried to get short at 177s. It stopped me out there as it popped into 177, mid 40s. So we'll take a bit of an L there, but it's at the 10 exponential. So this is the first time it's actually put in a couple of green candles in a row. And I want to say that's the first time it's done that since around 11:30. So that's 2 hours ago. So let's see what it does here with the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. I don't need to be first. I already took an L on this one. So we'll look to get more short here if we get that nice rejection. Looking at the future as well, 17,625 also seems to have gotten rejected. So a bit of an overlap right now between the look of the chart on Apple and the look on the chart on the future. There's a bit of a confluence there. Shout out to my main man, Obi-Wan Dang Kenobi. So keeping my eye on Apple here, definitely interested in shorting if it does breach or so it does reject that 10 exponential moving average. It's at that kind of area of indecision right now. Just to give you guys an idea of what I'm looking at on my side chart over here, the 10 exponential is at 177.60. We've currently got prints of 177.40. Adara, tell us more.
To get a little bit of a pop in the market here, it is worth noting we're seeing some reports circulating on X. Apparently, the Trump administration is considering changing its China port fee plan after getting some pushback from businesses. So initially, the Trump administration was looking to, I guess, have some proposed fees on China-linked ships visiting U.S. ports. A lot of negative feedback on this proposal, though, has been given by business leaders. So now 6 sources are apparently saying that the administration is going to consider changing this plan to charge fees here for Chinese-linked ships visiting American ports. Back to you.
Yeah, for sure, guys. By the way, on a positive note, we hit the 2-to-1 here on the Playmaker poll. So I'm just documenting that right now. So that's
I can take over if you need to.
Yeah. It's I'll just show them how we do it up here. So 200. I'm just going to show you guys how I kind of just document everything right here. And then this is the cumulative P&L that you guys can set up for yourself. So it just calculates everything. So you get cumulative, and then obviously you start at 0, and then you just calculate, add or subtract whatever you're looking at. So then there we go. We'll add another 200 pop. Oh, whoa. Why did it do that? Oh, okay. No, that was wrong. There we go. That's why I did it wrong.
She's off. Okay, Caroline Levitt is gone from the stage now. So we could, I don't know, we'll see if we get a bounce on this market. Sorry to interrupt you, Joseph.
No, go ahead.
But Caroline Levitt done she's the White House press secretary. Obviously, she's done her press conference. So the curveballs and the wild cards now, I guess, are a little bit less, unless our friend takes to X or Truth Social or whatever other platform he wants to use and starts dropping curveballs that way. So for the moment, the White House press conference is done, and yeah, we'll see if the market wants to rebound here. Shout out to my man there, Casey. So that goes both ways, obviously, is are you a guy or girl? Just so that I refer to you in the right way. Tag me, please. But Casey, we have broken the short-term downtrend on SPY and triple Qs. Could range around these levels for a while now. I happen to kind of agree with you on that. I don't think we have a V-shaped recovery. I just personally don't have that feeling. I don't know what catalyst would kind of warrant that. But in any event, we are above the 10 exponential right now, moving average on the 5 on Apple. So I was happy I didn't take the short there off the 10, but that was my inclination to want to do that, because it has shown you its propensity on the day to reject that level. Shout out to my man, Casey. He's a guy. I do appreciate you there, my man. I just wanted to make sure so that I refer to you in the correct way. So we're keeping an eye right now. Apple taking 178. Let me just give you some levels here for Apple, because I'm focused on that one, and I'm just going to stick with it. The levels are as follows. We've already taken out, at least for the moment, not on a closing basis, the 10 EMA. The 10 EMA is a guide for me in many ways. So we're above that right now, and we're taking out the whole dollar level at 178. I'm less inclined to want to short anything off the 20 EMA. It just hasn't been my cup of tea lately to use the 20 EMA on the 5, but there is a 179.30 level there. The level that I really want to keep an eye on is this 181.50. That's yesterday's closing print. That would be interesting to me, because that would be the borderline between positive and negative on the day. I think we may encounter some selling there if we do recover. Above that 181.50, though, is the volume weighted average price, which is a dynamic level, means it changes as the price evolves. Currently, it's at 184.15, a 184.20, something like that. So if it gets up to that level, it clears yesterday's closing print at 181.50. I'm certainly looking at the volume weighted average price for a short. I'm short biased today, right now on Apple, just given the fact that there's over 100% tariffs on Chinese imports.
Yeah.
Bro. You can't, you gotta assume that this cannot be like a persistent state of affairs.
No,
I mean that's just crazy here.
Yeah,
so what
it's
are we
tip for
saying?
tat. And this is why it's slightly frustrating too, right? Because you can see that I get on some of these signals. As soon as that conference is done, you get the rip to the target. So just get stopped out right there. So yeah. So I feel the exact same emotions you guys do. And here we go. Same thing with Tesla. It's like, okay, I'm not going to get in on this signal right here. I've attempted it too many times, and then it turns out to be the best one of the session. So yeah, that's what it is. If there's anything that you guys want to take a look at, just let me know. Put it in the chat. I'll be happy to do so. We can always take a look at the options chain, anything specific. Let's see what Bob was up to. I see a couple people in the chat putting that in there. So we'll take a look at Baba. As the market's starting to finally seem like it wants to put in a bottom. 5 minute, nice bounce off of that 5 minutes. So that is Alibaba. So yeah, it is what it is. So wait for that next day. Had a green, went red. So again. On to the next trade, Palantir, kind of bouncing off some of these lows as well. So it looks like the tech sector is starting to recover. Nice bounce off of Tesla and the Qs, etc. Yeah, so let's see what else. SoFi, yeah, let's take a look at SoFi. We'll go over that. No problem for you. So there's SoFi getting the bounce with the rest of the tech sector, bottoming signal, looking pretty good. Anything else that you guys want me to take a look at? Amazon, sure, why not? We'll go over Amazon real quick to see what we got going on. Again, same narrative as the overall tech market, getting somewhat of a bounce. We'll take a look at the options chain to see what that's telling us on that front as well. Is it telling us anything specific? Where's the potential bottom on Amazon? It's not the most liquid from an option standpoint, so take that into consideration. Again, relatively balanced here. 190, 17,000 open contracts on the call side. Other than that, nothing else stands out to me and is like, hey, this is going to act as a key level of support or resistance. But there you go. You're getting that little breath here in the market there, guys. Hopefully you had the ability to take advantage of it. Yeah, so that's it. Bounce. Let's see what I don't trust Amazon to invest in Asian markets. Yeah, there you go. That's a valid point there. Techie.ie, very valid point. Mara, sure, we'll go over Mara. It's just traces Bitcoin. So if you want Bitcoin exposure, I suggest go with IBIT or actually buy the underlying asset itself, never mind Mara and MSTR, because Michael Saylor's either going to go down as one of the smartest people in history or the dumbest. So we'll see how that works out for Michael Saylor and a lot of people too. So again, nice little pop. 251 was the lows here in the market. We'll zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily standpoint. Again, just tracing Bitcoin. What do we got going on from peak to trough here? Okay, it doesn't want to work. 53%. So there you go. It's cut half of its value there on MSTR. Nice run it went on, but now just tracking Bitcoin. And if you want Bitcoin exposure, like I just said, you may as well go with IBIT or buy Bitcoin itself. No point in getting into the miners like Riot, Mara, and then MicroStrategy, who's just pure exposure to Bitcoin. So that's that. Stopped out on Tesla here, guys. The TQ's bounce, looking really well. Hit my target. That's okay. Nice running right into this resistance zone and then rejected. But it is what it is. We'll look for that next trade, be patient, and find what is possibly going to display itself next trade.
The shorts on Apple don't stop, Joseph. They're just like, they're not stopping, Katina, man. That's the thing, bro. Every time we get a couple of candles in Greensville, you feel good. Oh, the longs are in. Nope, they're not. So we shorted here 177.05, scalped all the way down into 176.50. I'm going to keep scalping on Apple to the downside until it tells me not to do it anymore. 13 minutes left on the show, and Apple just cannot catch a bid. It faded you with that 3 green candle setup on the 5 with that 174.82 low. It did pop up quite aggressively into about 178.5. And that was as good as it was going to do, at least for the moment, that is, because now the current candle on the 5 is red, and we are down below 177 again. So that 178 breach was short-lived. Here we go again. Now we're down to 176.75. We're certainly not at 174.82. So there's certainly more room. Did I say certainly enough? More room to the downside here if your thesis is 174.82 is as low we're going to go on the day. That's not my thesis personally. I think we could bleed a little bit more, especially if any more news catalysts come out that are more negative. We'll have to see exactly what we get. But I am very interested in continuing to go short on Apple here. It has been a short to pops kind of day. It feels like that way anyway since about 10:30 when the top came in on Apple. From top to bottom today, guys, about $15 worth of range on a name that I guess, is incorrectly now called the dead one. But that was a long time ago when Adara was on the show. We used to call it the dead one. That was like October, November 23. It was dead at the time, Adara, so it was accurate at the time. It doesn't feel like it's that way now. This thing was up 4.5%, 5%. At the top. Now we're down 2.5%. So the ranges on this kind of name is just crazy. The amount of money coming in and out of this name on a daily basis. Yeah, I just got to look at the inflows and outflows.
It just went south of 3 trillion too.
Oh yeah, well I'm not surprised about that. So remember this one we were talking about in December. Dude, we're way below 3 trillion. What are you saying? We're at 2.6 trillion right now. This thing, we were knocking on the door of 4 trillion. CNBC, remember? They had the 4 trillion watch on Apple. We were close to there.
Too,
wow, man, $1.4 trillion has left this company. Bro, where's all that money at, man?
It has to go to somebody. Like, who's on the opposite side of that trade?
Man, Joseph, we're going short again.
Where does that, Sharif, give me a fraction of that.
Just going short again,
3 trillion big bucks. Yeah, exactly. Of course it is. You're shorted again?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, this is the thing.
Live.
He's doing it live. Yeah. But see, that's the thing, Katina, man. He's doing it right. He's riding the bear. Continuously ride that bear until otherwise. There is no news that is saying, hey, we're ready to turn around yet. And what is that news going to be? Okay, we've now come to tariff agreements, and we're not even close to that. We're still going tit for tat. You get 100%. Okay, yeah, you're going to give us 100%. Here's 50%. We're going to continuously go down the road until somebody eventually capitulates. And I don't know if either one of these parties want to. They want to come out the winner. That's most definitely the fact here in this trade war that we got currently.
Absolutely, man. Just keeping an eye on the future. Looks like we are back in Positiveville here on the NQ June contract. What a move that was. So we were briefly negative, guys. It didn't really spend all that much time in Negativeville, but yeah, there it is. We breached below that white line. Can you guys see that on the chart? Yeah, that white line right there. That is yesterday's closing print. So we're putting a couple of, we're trying to, I guess, retrace maybe back into 17.8. It looks like it was an ill-fated attempt over here at 17.8 initially at 12.40 or so. or sorry, 140, excuse me, that's Central Time. And it obviously failed that level. So we'll keep tabs on this one. Casey, Joseph, Sharif.
Whoa, bro.
The Katina is printing up a storm, bro.
I almost had to clinch.
Hey, my guy.
Clinch up, man.
I'm going to bring the videos in, man. I'm really proud of the setup, Katina, man. It took me all week to build that bad boy, so.
My personal trainer.
Hey, okay.
You'll come over, he said, let's go.
You're always welcome, bro. Casey France, please tell me the doing it live thing is... Casey, do you even need to ask, my man?
You know.
Of course it's Big Bill O'Reilly, man. The dude's got a temper, though, eh?
Is he?
Yeah, well, didn't you see what he did there? He freaked out because they couldn't record it. Yeah, like, so he got pretty angry there, Joseph, I'd say.
You know, when you're doing it live, you got to get a little angry.
All right. Marcos Morales. Well, China only needs to sell TikTok. Great point. Donald Trump has made that very clear, that tariffs could be adjusted if a very favorable TikTok sale is struck, or a deal for the TikTok sale, excuse me, is struck. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not the Chinese use that as a wild card. But I got to tell you, I feel, and I don't obviously have any information on this, just my personal feeling that the Chinese are playing hardball this time around. Yeah. It is not the same Chinese government as Trump 1.0. Like, they're just like doubling down. They're talking about war. They're like, we'll fight you in an economic, tariff, or whatever kind of war. Remember that from the Chinese consulate or embassy?
Honestly, if I was America, I'd be like, all right, you don't want to sell us TikTok, no problem. We'll just remove it from all of our servers. You can't use the app anymore. You can't upgrade it, blah, blah, blah. See you later. Now everybody start using Facebook or Instagram, etc., because I'm pretty sure that's not allowed in China. So therefore, you're not going to allow us to use our platforms in China. No problem. Well, I'm not going to go tit for tat for you guys with TikTok when there's other things that you can use, Instagram, Reels, Snapchat, etc. So I'd be like, see you later, no problem.
And a lot of people have had complaints about that, Joseph, the fact that American social media blocked in China, but that they want to have access over here. Yeah. And so, yeah, that tit for tat exchange is, well, we know exactly how that's going.
But yeah, you know what, guys, we can use Truth Social or go on X or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, unless you're in Canada, you can't see news items on your Instagram feed. Thanks, Justin.
No, because you got
fantastic look there. We're still short here, guys. We're short on Apple, short 178. We wet the beak all the way down to 177.40s. We're still holding a piece here, but it is popping back up. And I'm seeing that there is a bit of resistance at 178. We have a 3-candle rejection of that 178 level. Sure, it's wicked above it, but it hasn't been able to close. So let's see if it's able to move back up there. Otherwise, I'll be looking to short. Here we go again into the 60s. Get down. All right. Where's Big Smile at, man? I miss that guy, bro.
Yeah,
he messaged me.
This is his environment, too. So where is he at? Where is he at these days? I mean,
yeah, he's chilling, man.
Yeah, he's doing
well, he messaged me right now. I think he's listening because he's like, did you say China? Right? I was like, yes, I did say China.
I haven't seen that guy in a while.
All right, guys, we're doing well here. About 40 pennies in the money here on Apple on that short. Waiting for a 30 print here. We'll look to flatten out, Joseph. There are about 5 minutes left on the show. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm just looking at the market here. I don't want to chase any of these bounces to the downside, just in case we do get somewhat of a cover rally. So again, a couple attempts here on TSLA that didn't work out. We got that nice pop here earlier in the day, then stopped out break even, and then a nice other little pop here. And then also just waiting for those indecision prints. So I can't get overly upset on that fact, is that they were displaying themselves. They just continued to sell and just grabbed more liquidity. And then eventually it just went over and then started working. So SPF?
He's giving you love
I'm not going to lie, TikTok is the best right now, though. Again, I don't have TikTok. Sharif is loving that one. I don't have TikTok, so we'll hit the sirens there for Sharif.
So good, bro.
But see, that's the thing.
Can I say one thing to you, though?
Absolutely.
I don't know. I don't have any proof. It's just a feeling.
Yeah.
I feel TikTok's been a little bit different since that ban, that one-day ban. It hasn't been the same. I don't know what it is, but the algorithm is off a skosh. I still like it.
Yeah.
Exponentially more than Instagram,
especially modify it or anything like that.
I don't know. I don't know, but it feels a little different. Anybody else feel that way?
I'm no conspiracy theorist.
Okay. Neither am I.
They're offering a ridiculous sum of money to ByteDance to buy TikTok. Now, that clearly tells you that they are rejecting these offers and it's not for sale, so there is more behind it than money.
Agree. Oh, 100%. Joseph, obviously.
So,
there's
like,
got to be more.
Done. At that point, all right, it's done. Sorry.
Excuse
it's
data data collection
Everything.
on Americans.
Look at the terms
right?
and agreements of TikTok when you first download.
No, I've never.
You never read it?
That's
crazy.
hold on. You've read terms and agreements?
Yeah, of course. You've not all of it, but you haven't read the
So hold on. You've read X's terms and agreements?
Not now, no, not currently. But
who
before.
does that?
But even so, you have to read them when something's coming from a foreign adversary. Do you
Yeah,
not? And they say like, and they're like, hey,
I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't.
Yeah, no, because it's ridiculously long. But if you get more in depth with it, they have everything, keystrokes, what your search engines. They have access to everything. So there's more to it than just money.
Yeah. Let's see what everybody's saying there in chat. I asked everybody, 100% different, says SPF. That's been my inclination as well. Like, it doesn't show me the same type of thing. What I do like it for, though, and what hasn't changed, it shows me, sadly, what's really happening in the conflict in Europe. It shows me both the Ukrainian side and the Russian side, and something we don't get here in North America. Let's be honest. We get no Russian coverage of the war from their perspective in North America. It's obvious for obvious reasons. But I don't like just to listen to one narrative. That drives me crazy. I need to hear both sides and judge for myself. And I love that about it. It gives me the real look, what's happening with the drones, how they're responding to all this drone warfare, because I feel that this is a staging ground, for future war, right? Like, this is the first one where we're using drones en masse in ways that they haven't been used before. So I like it for that.
You see the drone shows that China has?
Bro, those are
insane.
The coordinated ones.
The coordinated. So
they did it at the X last year, by the way. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, but those are pretty cool. Like, that's insane. Imagine those coming after you.
Oh, God, yeah. Here's to my downfall. 110% they changed the algo. Also, algo in China is different. Yeah, I'm willing to bet that. I definitely agree with that. Eddie R., you bash a lot of Justin, then just hold the same criteria for Donald. Interesting. I don't have a problem with the party. I have a problem with the individual. I'll leave it like that. Let's see what else people are saying there. There's more like random one user accounts. Algo definitely weird, says live Trader TV. Yeah, that's kind of what I get as well. I get that feeling. Let's see what else people are saying. Crap stock. Russia Today news source. No, I'm not talking about state-sponsored news sources. I'm talking about these random accounts that show you what's happening behind the scenes. I don't mean, oh, give me what the official line of the state is saying. That's not what I want. I know what they're saying. That we're right, you're wrong, right? So that's not what I mean at all. What else we got here? Jay Lee, that is why for years and years, many people loved Al Jazeera News. They were more neutral when no other game existed like 10 years ago. Yeah, I've got my issues with them just because I'm Middle Eastern and I know how the politics in the Middle East works and where they fall on the politics spectrum in the Middle East, and it's it's interesting, Jay. I'll just leave it at that. But Joseph,
yes,
it is 1:59:57.
I don't even know. Do the Leafs play tonight?
Yes,
Leafs play tonight? I'm pretty sure they play Florida exactly, but they're sitting. Florida's sitting a bunch of players. So go Leafs, go.
Go Leafs, go. Take care, guys.
Yeah.
What up, beautiful people? It's ending on the hockey note. One thing I didn't get a chance to say that I wanted to say this morning is I have so much respect for Ovechkin for not wanting to go on the ice and break the record with an empty net.
Right.